We had an incident at the radio station when we were on that station. Anyway, it was impossible for me to know when we were on the air or not because what are y'all doing over there? It made no difference whether we were on the air or not because there was when we turned the microphone off, it was all the time. It just the microphone on and off, but I could always hear it in my headset, so I didn't know when it was on or off.
Right.
What are you doing? This is why we're doing this, is so everybody can get all of their stuff set up, and clearly Conrad, once again, is
function sound.
I got it done.
And once again, Conrad is the heathen in the classroom.
Well, I didn't have that problem until you started using my computer.
It's the sound on the computer. I got to make sure I turn the sound off.
So at any rate, to finish the radio station story, so I can't tell whether the mic is on or off. Oh, it's off. We're not on. Okay. Because I'm listening to the radio station in my ear.
Right.
It didn't make any difference either because we were on Facebook. And we didn't know it until Conrad, Mr. Facebook over here, until Conrad gets a message that refers to something that was inappropriate that I said
Again,
on the air, not knowing that we were on the air. So there was that story.
So we can explain to people who just got the live notice that we're just testing right now, making sure everything's good to go. After we did the remote, we brought all the components back, and now we want to make sure everything's working. So
all of the components.
You like that? Rodney Grubb, how you doing?
The gear.
Brian Blakemore, how you doing?
Yeah, so this is kind of like
the show's going to start at 9:30, but this is the pre-show.
Yeah, this is the tease.
This is the pre-something. Not exactly sure what. And Jeffrey's over there in the corner. You can't see.
He's hiding off
we
camera.
need to have the Jeff cam.
Yeah,
Yes, I agree.
We
We
need
need
a
a
Jeff
Jeff
cam.
You know, it looks like I need a little headroom here on my camera. Doesn't it look that way?
Yep.
There is no headroom.
You have max headroom.
Yeah,
You remember that
Max? Yes, I do.
Remember that TV show? That was
Max Headroom. I believe that he became famous through the Coca-Cola commercial, didn't he?
That's where he started.
Yeah.
And then he got his own
Then he got
TV
his own show, which was like
canceled real quick.
It was like,
Max Headroom.
it was like tripping.
Whatever happened to MTV? Whatever happened to all the
MTV's
music?
still on.
No, but the music videos from the 80s.
They still do it, but it's on a different channel. It's on a
MTV1,
yeah.
MTV1 and MTV2.
Yeah.
But those are old videos.
They are.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about, today's music videos. There are none. Of course, there's no music today anymore either.
Yeah, no
Well,
kidding.
that's true.
I wind up listening to more 80s music than I think anything else these days.
Well, I'm a 60s, 70s, early 80s fan anyhow.
Well, you'd like yacht rock radio. It's yacht rock radio.
Honestly, I listen to political talk radio in the truck all day long.
That's why you're so angry.
I don't even turn.
That's
the
why
music.
you're an angry man.
You
realize that,
I
don't
have
you?
to listen to Rush. I have to listen to Hannity. I like Mark Levin in the evenings.
I have to admit that
I can't do him.
Mark Levin, he's an angry person, but he speaks with such legal focus.
He's a lawyer.
too angry.
He's a big time lawyer. Yeah.
An angry one.
Yeah,
There's a lot of them.
Yeah,
Of course, I guess if you're a lawyer, you're probably pretty angry most of the time anyway.
Yeah, you're angry because you're a lawyer.
But you're not angry at
You
that.
notice how much lawyer and liar sound alike?
We probably
Send
have.
your comments to info@inwheeltime.
You get those, don't you, Morris? You never answer them, do you?
Depends on what they say. And
What are you doing over there now? What are you doing?
I'm zooming.
You are?
Zoom.
Do we have a Zoom person there?
We're coming in. We're hooking up.
Really?
Mike,
Yeah.
when you
that
send us
doesn't
a-
sound right.
Let me
we're
rephrase
hooking
that.
up.
We're syncing up.
That's better.
Okay.
Yeah,
However you wanna
Mike's
put
got
it.
on Facebook when you send us a message, he's got an automatic bounce back. Hi, thanks for contacting us. We'll get back with you
I know.
soon.
I've seen that,
And
and it never gets answered.
oh, I try and answer all of them, but I generally don't jump on working on the Facebook page until the evening when I'm sitting in front of the TV watching Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity. Like I don't get enough during the day in the radio in the car. I got to watch him at night. Well, I wish we had the ratings Tucker Carlson's been getting lately.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. He had what was it? Wednesday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. He had the most watched cable news show in history.
Really. when I disconnect from work, I
truly
try to
disconnect.
disconnect. My habit is that I come home, feed the Sues. Is she still down there?
She's over there.
Oh, she's over here. I feed the Sues, and then I turn on Me TV and Andy Griffith.
Oh, how funny.
I always watch me an episode of Andy Griffith to kind of soothe my nerves.
Well, that's Angie before she goes to bed every night. She watches Golden Girls.
Oh,
Why
Mom,
is the camera on me?
we're checking
You know,
the
it makes me
cameras.
very nervous.
Well, stop doing that then.
Hey, can you hook us up to Bob here?
Hi, Bob.
Hiya, Bob.
Morning, gentlemen.
There you
How
are.
you doing?
Checking the audio.
Doing good.
Well, that's
doing
good.
good.
Yeah, put him on there. Let's see what Bob. Wow, you got a nice office there, Bob.
Oh, thanks. I've got all kinds of paraphernalia to keep me excited about cars and planes.
You know, that used to get me in trouble back when I was in high school with the paraphernalia thing. But I'm sorry.
Another story, another radio show.
Yeah, it was another radio
Yeah.
show. So
Different program.
it is. Yes, it's another program. One of those that Conrad watches, which you were talking about.
Okay, so we need Jeff to do his thing.
Okay, so we're going to you just hang in there with us, Bob, because we're going to do some mechanical things here that we need to test. Because this is kind of
Sure.
like a pre-show thing that we're doing here today.
And this is going to take
Sure.
us off of Facebook Live, right,
Yeah,
Mike?
yeah. So for those,
So Facebook, we're going to be right back. We're going to do a couple of things, test something with
and
the.
no, we may or may not be back.
Yes,
depending on what happens over there
So hang with us on Facebook. We will resend you another live notice,
momentarily.
and then you'll have to switch post. Huge car nut.
And so, at any rate, so we're going to. We've been broadcasting there live, but he's put that event on hiatus while Corona's been happening. But we were all sick and tired of Corona, and so
yes.
and this is an outdoor event, so we're going to do the social distancing thing. But we're going to go out there and start back up with Stan with his monthly cruise-ins. And are you into cruise-ins at all, Bob?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, as Michael probably told, does it go by Mike or Michael? I don't want to do the offensive
Mike.
thing.
Either.
Or Mars?
Mike?
either one.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike or
Okay,
Mars. Yeah.
Mars. Mike was telling me this basically it's just a short presentation about the 105 cruisers, and we're a group of guys, and we go to a lot of cruise-ins. We do our best to try to make our way around. I really enjoy them. They're a lot of fun. I enjoy seeing all the old.
Well, this one would be the easiest way for you. Are you in Montgomery?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the easiest way for you would probably be
Grand Parkway.
249 to the Grand Parkway, and then the Grand
Sure.
Parkway South down toward down to Katy.
And then as you go
Okay.
under or cross I-10 is the Kingsland exit. So if you miss the Kingsland exit, it's like a 5-mile turnaround to come back to it. So just as you go under I-10 or over I-10, I don't remember which.
So all of your high-speed cruisers would have a fun time out on the Grand Parkway.
Oh, nobody
yeah.
does that.
Yeah.
Well, just a short comment. I'm part of an MG club, and we actually go. There's a place. It's an Irish pub. We go there once or twice a year. That's right there. We exit Kingsland, so I'm very familiar with it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's that loopy tortilla there.
Okay.
So, yeah. So it's 8 to 11 on Saturday, November 21st. Now tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's a great show. Great show of people that come with a real diverse collection of cars.
Yeah, it's a great cruise in. And another one is you familiar with Prince's Hamburgers, Bob?
Yes.
Okay. Well, my buddy Craig Bierman's got Coleman Coffee, and Coleman Coffee is going to happen tomorrow from 9 until noon.
Oh, okay. Now, Coleman Coffee, is that would that be advertised on Facebook or on In Wheel Time or?
Yes. It's on In Wheel Time. We're going to post it up on In Wheel Time. They do have a Facebook page. And then I also cross-post it over to Houston Cruise-Ins and Houston Car
Cruise-Ins and Dives.
Yeah.
Yeah, something. So, yeah, it's all over the place. But 9 to noon tomorrow. And that's going to be at the new Prince's at the Sharpstown Golf Course. You know where that is?
Sharpstown.
I'm familiar with Sharpstown. I lived there years ago, but I'm not familiar with the golf course.
Well, it used to be Sharpstown Country Club. Of course, that was
Gotcha.
probably well before you were born, but the city bought it, and it's now the Sharpstown Golf Course. But anyway, Prince's Hamburgers is in there. Then it's a nice little cruise in. That's from 9 to noon tomorrow.
And that also gets. I haven't been, but I've seen a lot
You
of.
coming
pictures.
tomorrow?
I don't know if I'm coming tomorrow or not.
Come tomorrow.
It's Sunday. I'm going to sleep in. Actually, I'm going to wake up to watch the Formula One race. But
Oh my God!
so
Why don't you participate in that? You going to come to the stands event?
Yeah.
You bringing the Oldsmobile?
Of course.
Well, if you're going to go there, then why aren't you going to go here?
Well, I haven't had the car out since September, so I need to
Here,
get
put
it
this
out.
up, Jeff. Put me up, Jeff.
The first Sunday of every month, Chrome and Coffee at Prince's Hamburgers in Sharpstown Golf Course.
Ah.
Why is it not a country club anymore?
Well, that hasn't been a country club in forever.
Oh, because it's Sharpstown?
Probably.
Okay.
It's old. I mean, it's an old section of town. I know. What are
It's
you
old
pointing
like
at
us.
the clock?
Okay.
Are you pointing at the clock? Did you
I'm
just
actually-
point at the clock?
Yes, he
you
did.
just pointed
I
at the
just
clock.
pointed at the clock.
Mars, how you doing over there?
I'm trying to hide stuff
Why?
because it looks weird on my black shirt to have all
Did
these
you pull
white
that
cords.
microphone a little bit away from your mouth?
Oh,
there?
I-
Yeah,
It
well,
looks
when
like
I put my headset back like this, it
Okay,
works better.
okay.
I
Fine.
thought you were like somebody's grandmother and you're just tucking your tissue up underneath your sleeve so
No,
it's
Well,
easy to
I'm
grab.
tucking my tissue somewhere.
No, from that teacher that always was pulling up her bra straps in class, always, constantly, and I didn't even know anything about any of that stuff back in middle school. But I can't. Mrs. Haygood, oh my God, Mrs. Haygood.
Mrs. Haygood, send your comments.
Yes, Mrs. Haygood had one of those loose bra strap things going on. She's constantly pulling them up, and so that's what Mars is doing
Maybe
over
she-
here.
Yeah, I can't get my bra strap right.
Yeah, that's right. Need to adjust that thing.
I'm adjusting.
His man's ear.
It's man's ear.
Having a problem here. I don't want to
Wasn't,
adjust.
wasn't,
Oh, God.
wasn't that a Seinfeld?
Bob, I'm going to put you on hold here for just a second. We'll be with you in a
About
minute.
30
Hang in
seconds.
there.
Everybody else, hang with us for the opening. We're
Yes.
trying to get.
We don't know what we're trying to do. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Zeka is off camera for the moment anyway. I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could make it with us on this absolutely stunningly beautiful Saturday here in Houston, Texas. Weather's cool. The dog's got a little hop in her step, and she's doing fine. And so we're all good. We got a great show lined up for you today, and we got a lot of things planned in the next 2.5 hours. It's going to be a glorious morning.
It is. It started out great, and it's getting even better.
And how are you?
I'm kidding.
What
You're
are you
busy
doing?
still touching yourself?
Now I'm on the other side. Now I got to get the.
Mrs. Haygood over here is adjusting her bra straps.
Well, Jeff's always
Getting ready
after
for the
me
show.
not to have anything show.
Well, no, he didn't say anything about that. That's on you.
No, he.
But Jeff is our technical director, and he tells us to clean our tissues and our coffee and all of the paperwork off of the desktop. And we try and listen to him, but not always.
We try,
I give
but
up.
it doesn't work.
See,
at
Jeff
all.
also brought all of the Halloween decorations. We have.
Oh, by the way, I think that didn't we have something that was talking earlier? Did I hear something
The
that was
crow.
talking? The crow talks. Let the crow talk. It's Halloween. That's all it does?
I think it's got 3 or 4 different things, but we've heard enough.
It was kind of hard to understand. Does the sound actually come out of the bird, or does it come out of the bass? Let me have that thing. Let me have this. You just press the yellow button?
Yeah, it sounds like.
Where's the speaker in this? Wait just a minute. You can hear the motor running.
All right, here. Can I have that toy back?
No.
It's supposed to flap its wings too.
Somebody
but
broke the
Jeff
wings.
broke the wings.
Is this something? This looks like it's something that's been around for a while.
You need to put some wheels on it.
Something like that.
Yes. Welcome.
All right.
Welcome to our car show.
Yeah. Enough is enough of that. So joining us right out of the box this morning is Bob Schroeder. He's a car guy, and he's also with the 105 Cruisers up there in Montgomery. Bob, thanks so much for joining us. How are you today?
I'm good. Good morning, gentlemen.
Well, and good morning to you. So, Bob has a 57 MGA. Rarely misses a cruise in. He also owns a 53 Willys Jeep. Seriously, you do?
Yes, I do.
You know, I think that this little office area that you're in should really have in the background all of these cars that you have here, because I'm impressed. 58 Lincoln Continental, a 1989 IROC Z Camaro.
Oh, that works.
Well, that works big time. How about a 66 Chevy Malibu? And they only buy
like that 66.
Now,
yeah.
are all these convertibles?
Every one of them's convertible, except for the Jeep, but it has no doors, so we'll just go with convertible.
Well, yeah.
It didn't have a top to begin with.
Right.
Exactly.
So, what are we going to talk about? You want to talk about your collection of cars? You want to talk about the 105 Cruisers, or?
I think we ought to do both.
Okay, well, let's do both. So let's start with your car collection here. This is, to me, this is like the perfect number of vehicles. It's not too many. It's not too few. It's just right.
It is, and I have to tell you what makes that size perfect is there always a little bit of work to do on every car. It's never overwhelming, but it's just enough. And while I'm working on 1, 2, or 3, I always have another 1 or 2 to drive depending on the occasion.
Yeah,
One of them's always running, I would think. I would hope.
Yeah, unlike our garage, nothing would be running.
Well, if you only got one, if it's running, if it's not, it's not.
So which one is your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
Well, it kind of depends. The little MG, I did a ground-up restoration, and I'm part of the Houston MG Club, so I get a lot of great advice from them. Great group of people, too.
Yeah.
It's not powerful, but it's just fun to drive. In fact, every once in a while, I have to check the gas tank to make sure I have enough fuel because it's very economical.
Yeah, we've had Mike Gentry on the show a number of times from the MG Club here in town.
Oh, good. Yeah, Mike, great guy. But you know, the Malibu is a little bit of a hot rod, even though it's a convertible. So I like the good sound of a V8, and it's the old '60s muscle era. Gives you that feel like you've gone back in time.
Just a muscle car, yeah.
It is. Now the '58 Lincoln is kind of the iconic. It's a convertible, and Jay Leno actually did a 30-minute program on the Lincoln, and it is just such a unique car. It's a convertible, and I'll tell you, it's 19 feet 1 inch long, and if you have enough passengers, it is a 3-ton car.
It's a land yacht.
Do you get to practice
Exactly.
your parade wave?
Exactly. Detroit was not afraid to use sheet metal on that car
And chrome.
And chrome, yeah. And it's like when you drive it, it's like being in your living room and cruising because it's just huge. And that's probably the one that's the most fun to just cruise in.
Is that the favorite one of the wives?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I'll give you the short story, and I'll make it as brief as possible. We bought that car at an auction, and I was bidding on the car, and there was another guy on the other side of the room. So we're going through the numbers. Let's just say I bid 26, he bid 27, I bid 28, he bid 29. I wanted to slow it down, so I paused till the gavel almost came down to the sold. And I bid again, and then he bid, And then the next time I'm waiting to get the gavel, all of a sudden there's a bid. And then I bid again, and the guy tells me, the auctioneer looks at me and says, "No, you can't bid." And I'm thinking, why? And he points at my wife. My wife was sitting next to me, and she bid me up.
She's outbidding you.
Yes. And I said, "What are you doing?" She says, "You're going too slow."
What a great story.
That's funny.
Thanks a lot, honey. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kathy. We really appreciate it. So all right, let's shift gears here real quickly, and let's talk about the 105 Cruisers.
Sure.
A little bit of history first. When did that start?
About 5 years ago, a guy named Eddie Gardner. He lives up in Walden, right off Lake Conroe. And as he would go around the neighborhood, he would notice a lot of old cars sitting in garages. And as we all know, these old cars need to be on the road for people to see, not sitting in garages. So he left notes on their doors, and he said, "Hey, come by this Texaco station on Saturday night and we'll get together." Well, about 3 to 5 guys show up. Well, that over time expanded. We have now moved it to in downtown Montgomery. It's adjacent to the Brookshire Brothers, or behind the O'Reilly's Auto Parts. And we meet there now every Saturday at 6 p.m. And we've gone from, say, 5 cars to we're around 70 cars now.
Oh,
So
wow.
it has grown considerably.
Nice. So when is the next get together?
Actually, this evening, 6 p.m. And we're a car group. We're not a club, so there's no president, no dues, no organization. We use Facebook and texting as a way to stay in communication.
Yep.
But usually about 5:30 to 6 in the evening in the parking lot, and everyone's welcome. We have a very diverse car group, and we always welcome families, especially kids. We really would like the young people to become more interested in this industry.
Now, you do realize that tonight is Halloween.
And we are having what is called trunk or treat. So there will be lots of candy for the kids.
Where is this going to be?
At the Brookshire Brothers in Montgomery.
That's where it was. I didn't know whether it was still there or not. Thank you.
Yeah.
He doesn't pay attention, does he? These two over here, forget them. They're not even here.
I'm listening. I don't know what you're doing.
But yeah, I didn't state it. We actually are still at the place in Brookshire's parking lot behind the O'Reillys. Lots of room for people to park cars that are not part of the car group or anyone that wants to bring a car. So you can bring whatever you like. There's plenty of parking.
Well, I think what I find interesting is the fact that it's right behind O'Reilly. So if there's a problem, boom, there it is.
Well, the other thing is I'm sure all of the businesses surrounding that parking area, they appreciate you coming in because everybody's going to go get something to eat before or after as well. We've watched that at a number of car meets, and as long as everybody...
It's a grocery store, Conrad.
Yeah, but there's other stuff in the immediate vicinity.
Oh, you're talking about fast food.
No. Well, there's a couple little restaurants around there.
You've been?
Yeah, I've been to Montgomery. Montgomery is right where 149 and 105 cross. You got to make the left turn to go to College Station. I drive through there often.
Okay.
I don't stop there.
Have you been to this event?
I haven't been to that event.
Tonight's your night.
Tonight's the
You
night.
should go. Check it out.
Trunk or treat. Well, Bob, it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining
one
us.
question is, what color is your IROC Z?
It is, I would call it a darker metallic blue, and I'm actually going to repaint it soon with the same color.
Good for you.
Yeah, we had somebody on the internet ask what color it was.
Well, if you've got any, if you got an extra car or two, I mean, I don't mind coming up there and driving one, warming it up for you, take it to the cruise in.
Exactly. Well, as I always say, I need to air out the exhaust once in a while.
That's right, air it out.
Yeah, we need to air Don out every now and then too.
Yes, we know what you're talking about.
mainly Don's brain. But Bob Schroeder, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate your time.
Well, and we appreciate you too. We hope to see you tonight up at the Brookshire Brothers in Montgomery.
Well, I'm going to ask one other question. Did you fly that F4 behind you?
No, but one of our, and I'll make it short, even though we're a car group, we have quite a few pilots. I think 4 of us are United pilots, 1 American, 1 Southwest, and One of our buddies flew in Vietnam. He flew that Phantom you see in the background, not that particular plane, but the
One of them,
F-4
yeah.
Phantom in Vietnam.
How cool.
Very nice. Okay, thank you, Bob. We're going to try to get to Conrad to move on now, so we appreciate it. All right, take care. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, anytime.
Well, I thought he had an interesting background there.
He does.
He
He's
does
got
have a
cars
very-
and airplanes.
F4 Phantom.
All right, this is the In Wheel Time Car Show. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're going to take a quick break, and right after that, we're going to have Jeff's car review. Stay with us.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
If Baby could talk, she'd say a lot. You'd know what she's thinking and what makes her happy. But unfortunately, Baby can't talk or remind you you're the one taking her to daycare today. And she won't speak up if you drive straight to work like any other day and never think to look in the backseat. Every year, dozens of kids die from heat stroke in cars. No one is perfect, so set a reminder. And always look before you lock. Where's Baby? Paid for by NHTSA.
Hey, everybody, it's the In Wheel Time Car Show. Thanks so much for riding with us today. We've got kind of a different music setup for yours truly to control.
Cool.
And,
You have a new toy.
I have a new toy, but
Awesome.
you know, I have to tell you that it's can be intimidating, and
But you're a professional. We'll get through it. I think it's a whole
buttons.
lot easier than what you were doing, huh?
What did you say?
I said it's not as many buttons. Or is it more buttons?
No, it's way more buttons.
A lot more buttons. Yeah.
That's why I have a zipper. I don't like buttons.
Okay. Well, making his rare weekly appearance, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the man about town, your man that has this morning's pre-owned car of the week.
And the show decorator.
And the show, yes, we must mention
shui.
that he's this is. Do you like the little pumpkin spider?
I thought that was one of your kidney stones. And we have a boo pumpkin and the talking crow.
Oh, but up in front we've got the skeleton
skeleton.
And I can drive a stick. Now, I thought that was a comment about being able to drive a manual transmission. Jeff said, no, that's about
broomsticks.
Nancy riding her broomstick.
I didn't say Nancy. I just said witch's broomstick.
All right, time
I'll
now.
let you pick the Nancy.
It could be Sally or it could be anybody.
All right.
Janet.
The pre-owned car of the week, Jeffrey's got the 2017 Mazda 6 Touring. So I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yes, sir.
But there's a difference between a Mazda 6 and a Mazda 6 Touring.
Oh, yes. Oh,
You're going to get to that?
oh absolutely, Mona.
All right, well,
There is a Touring, there is a Sport, and then there's a Grand Touring.
okay, and we have the Touring.
We have the Touring. So those are the trim levels available.
All right.
And, of course, this is the Touring that I reviewed. It is a sedan. It is a 5-passenger vehicle. Exterior changes and things that went on previous years and up to date to this year. You've got the front fascia. You've got grille. We've got a video coming up or some still shots coming up here momentarily.
Eventually.
Yeah, Mars is over there sucking on his Coke and not
There we
paying
go.
attention. There
No,
it
no,
is.
no.
Great looking car.
It
though.
is a good-looking car.
I want the
And-
paint job.
Exactly. Now, Kathy had a 2005. We talked about this the other day.
His wife, Kathy.
Yeah, my wife, Kathy. She had a 2005. She liked the car. She kept it for many, many years.
Because, you know, Bob's wife was named Kathy also.
Oh.
I just wanted to make sure that we got that separate.
Well, there's
You're not dating Bob's wife.
There's
This is
probably
your wife.
millions of women named Kathy out there.
They've lost control.
Just want to bring that up.
So the grill, I like the grill, like you said. I like the front fascia. It's got the fog lamps in it. The rear deck, it's got the Euro look. I mean, there's been multiple years of different manufacturers with the same kind of look with the fascias, with the rocker styling, the rear deck lid, the spoilers. So one of the things for Mazda, they've actually done some color changes too. They've added some colors to the vehicles over the years. Not many on the interior color-wise, but the exterior colors have been changed as well. Exterior features, it's got the delay headlights, it's got the blind spot warning, lane departure, sort of a BMW-ish look, collision warning optional, a rear spoiler like we talked about. Overall styling, I like it. It's a good-looking little car. For 2017, they did a good job. Interior-wise, and you see there, Optional HUD, which I did not know. The head-up display.
Yeah.
I did not know that. It was a year that was actually implemented
Launched.
for 2017. It's got the sunroof, the Bose. Now, with the Bose, you can get anywhere between 6 and 11 speakers. With the Touring, it's the 6. Moves up to the Sport, and then the Grand Touring, you get the multiple 11 Bose speaker system in the vehicle.
The Grand Dame.
The
of
Grand Dame.
speakers.
There you go. Active display. It's got the heated mirrors, 6-way or 8-way seats, depending on the trim level that you get. Now, the 7.7-inch screen that you see there on the top, I don't like that. That is one of the things that
Why not?
I just think it's obtrusive.
Looks like it's bolted on.
Exactly. It looks like some aftermarket
Well,
thing.
this is a 2017.
Right, but there's other vehicles that have that as well.
Better
And I-
integrated into the dash.
Thank you, Conrad.
And it's odd because some manufacturers do it that way, even today,
Right.
that it kind of looks like it's an add-on as opposed to integrated. And, I remember there was a period of time somebody had it where it actually popped up from the top of the dash.
Cadillac did that.
Rode it up from
Yep.
the top of the dash.
Yeah, I know that for sure. Cadillac did that, and I hated that as well. Nevertheless, but it's a good styling. It's a good, comfortable vehicle, and is very, very attractive, I think, inside. Now, so far as the engine, the Touring has a 2.5. It's a 4-cylinder. You can get a 6-cylinder in this. Now, the horsepower for the 2.5 is 184. It's got the Skyactiv technology, which Mazda's known for.
Which is their direct injected 4-cylinder.
Correct. It's 185-pound torque in Newton meters.
Newton meters.
Is 6-speed automatic transmission, 26 to 35 miles per gallon on this.
26 to 35?
Yes, on that. Depending if you've got
26
if you've got a
city, 35 highway.
correct. If you got a Mike Mars foot, you're in the 26 range. So,
Yes, we know.
right. Just thought I'd throw you in there, Mike. 29 combined overall. What could use improvement? The throttle response on these things. What I've found out about these is that it could be better, but there again, it could be a good thing or a bad thing. Traction control in the ride is a good thing on that. Trim, base price on this for the trim level that we have is between $13 and $22, depending on the mileage. I like this shot. That's a menacing looking grill on that. I think that's just a cool looking shot. So
you could get into one of these for really under 20 grand.
right, high mileage, you're looking at the low teens. The lower mileage, you're up in the low 20s, roughly. The one that we're looking at here and we're talking about today is about 17.5. So it's a good average.
And it's after Mazda changed their whole style of their
Exactly.
vehicle. So it's a good, very good looking, swoopy little car. I know Mazda had a name for their design style.
Swoopy?
No, it wasn't swoopy. There was some
Zoom.
There you go. I think that's what it was. Zoom.
Well, wasn't that
It was.
back in the 80s?
No, they did
No.
Zoom a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't very long ago. Yeah, very long ago. New, this vehicle is about 34 plus. Of course, the vehicles that compare to it are the Fords, the Toyotas, and the Hondas.
Yeah, this is a Camry-sized vehicle.
Right.
Honda Accord, that's the comparative.
The styling with the
Group.
front end, the grille, I like that because it reminds me of the old the Ford Fusions, an Aston Martin look, not necessarily a Lexus look, but that cool looking
Yeah.
grille.
It's not overpowering.
Right. Next week, we're going to try to get a Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. If anybody out there has one, want to review it.
Has anybody donated the car? You've asked.
No, but
you've
I'm-
asked for different sports cars and stuff. And
I'm gonna
keep waiting for
continue.
somebody
I
to
will
donate
continue.
a car.
Someone
for you.
out there. I don't care if I have to travel around the world. We'll make that happen. We'll make
Right.
that.
Do it on a trade.
And could I do one thing? A shout
You
out to a
can.
buddy of mine, Todd Sheldon, in Colorado, Denver area.
Yeah.
Longtime friend, grew up together.
Hi, Todd.
He listens to the show. He watches the show. So thanks, brother.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks to all that tune in. We don't know why you're doing it, but
Well, George and Candy and Jeff are all online too.
oh Lord, yes, those are high school friends.
Do they have a Rolls? Anybody
yeah,
have Rolls?
Anybody got a rolls? Candy may have
Dinner
one.
rolls, maybe.
Dinner rolls. We're in for those.
Croissant rolls.
Hey, we'd love to hear your comments or questions. Our email address is info@inwheeltime.com. We're going to have a quick splash and go, and we're back with Conrad's local racing shows, cruises, stories making auto news headlines, all that and more just ahead. Stay with us.
It was a goal that I wanted to achieve from the very beginning. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. I wasn't sure if I could do it. It was very hard for me, but the teachers, the counselors, they help you. One of the teachers was Miss Araceli. Miss Araceli, she gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll come over and she'll sit there with you until you get it.
At age 47, with the help of his teacher, Marco finished his high school diploma.
50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work. Getting your high school diploma, it is a life-changing experience. It really is. It catapults you to where you want to go.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Jeff says we're a wall-to-wall signal.
There you go.
Here, wait. Here, wait. What does that remind you?
Reminds me, it looks
Soupy
like
sales?
You're having a stroke. Don's dancing.
Welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Show. We really appreciate you being with us. This is our Halloween edition. Not that we're doing anything special for it other than Jeff's decorations, but we appreciate that.
Jeff spent yesterday at not Home Depot, Home Goods buying Halloween decorations for us.
Leftover stuff.
And leftover stuff from years back. Obviously, the Scarecrow has been through hell and back. Yeah, there's that.
Hence Halloween.
Yeah. All right. Time now to take a look. I said local racing shows. I think all the local racing is over with.
Yeah, pretty much.
But we have national and world racing events.
Yeah,
Got,
well,
some cruise-ins and stuff. Where do you want to start?
Well, Formula One is at Imola, Italy.
That's Imola.
Imola. I don't know. How do you say it in Italian?
Imola.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
So they're on, and they're going to be on tomorrow on ESPN. And then the Turkish Grand Prix is 2 weekends away. Bahrain is going to be on the 27th. So lots of
Those people have no lives over there, I guess.
Yeah, well, Formula One's trying to catch up with where they were because, through the summer they weren't racing.
Yeah.
So they're going to really punch a bunch of them right in here at the end of the season.
Gotcha.
And then tomorrow is Martinsville Speedway for NASCAR as they're coming
They're
down.
back at Martinsville?
Yeah, they're going to put a short track in the Final Four. So
How fun.
So they have crushed down to the...
I can't wait till next year. Did you hear that they're going to put dirt over Bristol and
Yes,
have an
that's
actual
good.
NASCAR dirt track?
That's gonna be
Really?
good.
Yes.
Well, plus coming to Circuit of the Americas, that's going to be a great track to
I
run
bet it's a
NASCAR
different
on.
car than the dirt track version.
Oh, I'm sure it is. And then Phoenix next weekend, as again NASCAR is coming to the end of their season. IMSA, which is the Corvettes and the prototype cars, they're running at Laguna Seca this weekend. And friend of the show, Alec Udell, he'll be running his the Mercedes GT4 car there. And he's all. If you kind of follow us online, I kind of share some of Alec's posts.
I became a friend of his on
racing
Facebook.
of his racing experience. Yeah, he writes a very, very nice story each week about what it takes to become a racer and the things that he does in it. So follow him and follow him on our Facebook page as well. It's very, very interesting. Real nice young guy. And then on the 14th of November, they're going to run the 12 Hours of Sebring, which would have run back in March, but they can't, so they're going to run it on the 14th. I think that's their season ender. And then talking about season ender, OOEE is going to win her 4th world championship. You like that OOEE? You get that?
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you now.
So they are running Las Vegas this weekend. They're qualifying first round right now. And I think if she makes the third round, she wins the world championship for her 4th time. Go, Erica.
Absolutely. Always.
And then, shows around town. Let's see. Tonight at Ma's Tea House, which is down here in Richmond, they're going to have the Japanese domestic market meet. So a lot of Japanese import cars, not the not the ones that are imported through the dealerships, but these are the ones that are imported directly from Japan. Quite a few right-hand drive Japanese
that's what
cars
I was just going to say, yeah.
are going to be down here at Ma's Tea House in Richmond.
I got some news.
The Kima car meet and the Nifty. And anyhow, I'm done.
The Nifty 50?
Well, Nifty 50s.
That was last weekend.
That was last weekend. But the other one is Chrome and Coffee at Prince's Hamburgers tomorrow. And that starts at 9 a.m. and goes to 12 noon. And be there. And Don Armstrong is going to be signing his hero cards.
I don't have any hero cards. I'll sign your shirt, though.
Okay. So come
with
and get an
indelible
autograph.
ink. Can I do some news now, or do you just want to go ahead and take up the rest of the... I've only got a minute to go.
Go.
A federal judge on Thursday granted a last-minute request to stop the U.S. government from turning over to Japan 2 Massachusetts men to face charges that they helped smuggle former Nissan Motor Company chairman Carlos Ghosn, I think it's pronounced Ghosn, but I like Ghosn better, smuggle him out of the country while he was awaiting trial on financial crimes.
Smuggled him out in a piece of luggage.
Prosecutors say the 2 men facilitated a brazen escape in which Ghosn fled Japan on December 29th of last year, hidden in a box and on a private jet before reaching Lebanon, his childhood home, which has no extradition treaty with Japan. Ghosn was awaiting trial on charges that he engaged in financial wrongdoing, including by understating his compensation in Nissan's financial statements. Ghosn denies any wrongdoing. Of course,
Yeah,
he does.
but that's why he ran away.
And I'm going to squeeze this in. It's going to run us behind, but it's your fault.
Yes, sir.
Toyota Motor Company said it's adding 1.5 million Toyota and Lexus vehicles to a large recall announced in January over a fuel pump that may stop operating, potentially causing a stall or risking a crash. In total, about 3.4 million vehicles are now included in the recall, covering model years 2013 to 2020. Toyota-affiliated supplier Denso Corporation manufactured the fuel pumps involved in both sets of recalls. So go to safercar.gov, type in your VIN number, which you can find on your insurance paper, and it'll tell you whether you got a recall or not.
And if you've paid for a fuel pump on your Toyota that's included in the recall, you can probably get reimbursed for it.
Okay. You good?
I'm good. You got another minute left.
No, I don't, actually. But we are going to take a quick break, and In Real Time returns right after this. Nope, not after that, but after this.
If doctors told us that we'd made a breakthrough on COVID-19, we would rejoice. We'd feel hope that we could live our lives again, get back to work, back to doing what we want. Well, masks are a ticket to that freedom. We can help protect others and save lives by covering our noses and mouths, which is how the virus mainly spreads. Until there's a vaccine, grab the breakthrough that's already here. When we're out, it's masks on. A message to help keep you safe.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Real Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Real Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. From Studio A in Texas, USA, it's the award-winning all things automotive car talk show, In Wheel Time. Just ahead, a review of our new car of the week, the 2020 Lexus LS500. This week in automotive history, and we'll have stories making auto news headlines, along with a smattering of guests. That and more just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, October 31st, 2020. Boo! And happy Halloween, everybody.
Boo!
I can say that, can I?
Yes.
I apparently I can say just about anything I want to, can't I?
Almost.
This is the internet. We're not held by FCC rules anymore.
Regulations. Where's the liquor? Break out the liquor. Not supposed to have liquor in a radio station.
Really?
Not supposed to drink it in a radio station.
That's why they all smoked weed.
That's exactly what it was. KPFT was known for that. How do I know? Don't ask me.
You don't remember.
I don't remember anything anymore.
All your money when you were young went up in smoke.
I burned all that up, didn't I? It's one way or the other.
Love that movie.
Yeah. Well, speaking of movies,
and being on the move,
we've got really an interesting guest here, and we're going to go to him now. His name is Will Coleman, or is that Goldman?
No, it's
Coleman. And he is the founder and CEO of Alto Ride Share. Will, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Where are you? You're driving somewhere.
Well, I'm being driven somewhere.
Oh, you're being driven.
There's no better way to be on a car talk show than to be in the back of an Alto for the interview. So I'm coming to you live from I think we're in Alto 51 here in Dallas, and I'm not making my way all the way back down to Houston today, but we're excited to be launching there in the Houston market.
Yeah, and so that's what we wanted to talk to you today about, is the fact that Alto is an employee-based, on-demand ride-share company that is coming to Houston in the not-too-distant future. A dedicated fleet of 5-star crash-rated SUVs and a team of fully employed, vetted and trained, uniformed drivers. So I don't even know where to begin asking you questions. First of all, let's talk about Alto and the fact that this is a ride-share program that is actually, these people are drivers, but it's your own Alto fleet. Do I understand it correctly?
Yeah, you've got it right. We're what we're trying to do is take the convenience of rideshare and bring the safety, consistency, and quality that we think customers have come to expect from other products that they're not getting in the rideshare space.
Other products. Let's use for an example Uber and Lyft.
So you're trying to bring a level of professionalism to rideshare that might not be there in other vendors.
You got it. Yeah, we think of ourselves more like a Starbucks or a Westin than an Uber or a Lyft because of that consistent quality that you're always going to get. Every time you walk into a Starbucks, you know exactly how it's going to smell, you know how it's going to taste. They're going to make the coffee the exact way that you want. There's a level of consistency and professionalism that you can only get if you really control the end-to-end process. And so at Alto, that's really what we're aiming to do, is by having W-2 employee drivers that we can select and vet, train, and help them have the tools to deliver a consistent and high quality customer experience every time. We give them one of these beautiful 6-passenger SUVs with captain's chairs. It's a roomy and comfortable ride for one, and great for going out on date night or with another couple. And so you always know you're going to be in the highest degree of safety and in the highest degree of consistency and quality every single ride.
So you use Alto as your DD.
Yeah. So what possessed you to venture into this market? Because, I mean, let's face it, especially one of the other two formerly mentioned rideshare programs, they got a head start on you. What motivated you to start Alto?
Yeah, I was spending a lot of time in this space in my previous job as a management consultant, traveling around the U.S. and the world, spending days in hotels, airlines, but in particular cars. And I really noticed that as these guys they did get a big head start, but really this is still a very new industry. And as that, it started to just really begin to mature in the last couple of years. I mean, we're still only probably 8 to 10 years into the rideshare industry as a whole. And I just noticed that there were, as the industry got bigger, it also became less consistent, less safe, and didn't meet my needs. We started doing some research. I started with my wife. I found she didn't even have either of the apps on her phone and was only taking rideshare if she was riding with me. And we did research around the U.S. and found that the two of us weren't alone. There's a lot of professionals, families, women in particular, who were looking for something better to help them get around. And we thought that we could learn from our competitors and the mistakes that they've made that we think that we can, frankly, correct easier and better than they can.
Are you cost competitive, Will?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, by having, we actually think that the model that we've set up is much more cost efficient because we buy our vehicles at scale. That means that we can do it in a way that is much more efficient than an individual driver going to a dealership and buying or selling their car. We can also buy all of the things that go around, all of our COGS, our cost of goods, the car, maintenance, fuel, insurance. Those are all things that we can do at a large fleet scale across several hundred vehicles, hopefully someday several thousand vehicles, that are expensive, but that we can leverage that power to make the cost work.
So you're already settled in the Dallas market. Is that what I understand?
Absolutely. We launched in Dallas in January of 2019, so a little over a year and a half ago. And we have been operating here in Dallas since then, growing really quickly from a fleet of just 10 cars on the road to 75 or 80 now. We've launched in Houston and just in the beginning of October. So it's been exactly 1 month. We're seeing great success there so far. And we're really excited to continue to grow in Houston in the same way that we did here in Dallas.
So functionally, you have a phone app that's functions similar to what your competitors do?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the convenience factor we try to deliver the same that our competitors would. You download the Alto app you can go to www.ridealto.com/download, or you can find us in the Google Play or Apple App Store. Once you have the app, you create an account, put in your credit card information, and you can request a ride on demand. Right there from the app, you can track your vehicle, see your driver, and we can take you anywhere you need to go within the Houston Metroplex.
So on the Apple Play and iPhone store, it's ALTO is what you'd search for?
Yep. Yeah, you can type in Alto. There's happens to be a video game called Alto's Odyssey that's been out a little bit longer than us.
And let me just interject. There's also Alto Pharmacy and Alto's Adventure, but you are under Ride Alto.
Alto,
yeah. Yeah. I got it.
I want to make sure people get your app and not whatever the video game is.
Yeah, exactly. It's
the
a
video
kid
game's
game.
Pretty good too. I've tried it out. It's all right.
So one of the things that I did notice on your website was the fact that you're very COVID conscious, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the big differentiators in our model, again, is safety and consistency. Those two things are really, really important to us. And safety, what safety means to everyone today is actually quite different than when we started. But that the reason we built the company like this is so that we could respond to the changing consumer needs. Because we have our own vehicles, it means actually my iPad that I'm coming to you live from is clipped to a plexiglass barrier that's between me and my Alto driver, Irma, right now. All of our vehicles have HEPA air filters. Masks are obviously required for both passengers and drivers. We use an EPA-registered disinfectant multiple times a day to clean and disinfect the vehicles at the same kind of quality that you would expect from an airline or a hotel. And again, because we, really have this level of control over the product, we really think that we can go above and beyond in a way that, really no one else in the space can.
We're all looking at each other here because we've got so many questions to ask. So when you move to Houston, how is that going to work for us here? Will you tell us once we register with you that you're here in the market?
We're open in Houston now. We opened October 1st, so you can absolutely download the app and begin using it in the Houston market right now. In fact, we've already signed up several thousand customers in the Houston area and are getting quite busy, actually. We're hiring very quickly in Houston, drivers each week in order to continue to keep up with demand. We just shipped more cars down, and we've got another truckload of them that are coming off the lot in Detroit this week and are headed down to the Houston market as well because of the growth we're seeing there.
You kind of went over that earlier, but just to be clear, so you as a company are buying these vehicles. These are the company vehicles and company employees that you're dealing with, not just me driving part-time after hours or something like that.
Yeah, we do have part-time drivers. A lot of drivers still like to drive part-time and do it as an addition to something else, or maybe they're staying home part-time with their family. But they're all W-2 employees, which means that we can select them. Not anybody. You won't find the Drive Alto app in the App Store because it's not a public app. You have to be a hired Alto driver using one of our vehicles on our platform in order to pick somebody up.
Right.
And
So we
do buy we lease the vehicles, but it's effectively an ownership model. We they're all Alto's cars. So we are a fleet operator. We operate, actually a lot like a rental car facility. If you're a driver, you come to one of our facilities, you drive your car there, you're issued an Alto vehicle, and you go out on the road and execute your shift, pick passengers up. And then at the end of the day, you bring the car back and take your personal car home.
Okay.
Why would I use Alto as opposed to Yellow Cab?
Probably smells better.
There's about 100 reasons, but it starts with, I don't even know how you would book one of those these days. You could call them up maybe. But also, I think what we saw in the taxi industry was really that, they just hadn't invested in not only technology, but the vehicles are quite dilapidated. And so we really thought that we could bring this kind of elevated experience to the space.
And they don't have Jim driving like they do in Taxi.
Jim, there you go.
We know convenience is super important to our customers, and part of that convenience is really the on-demand app-based nature. It's touchless. You create an account, you press a button, the car shows up, you get in, you get out. You don't have to deal with credit card processing or any of those sorts of things, and it's part of that magic that we think makes the convenience factor what has really made rideshare generally very, very popular.
And how big?
So we're really trying to build on that by adding this consistency.
All right, Will, we want you to hang on for just a second. We need to take a quick break here, and we want to ask how big your fleet is and what the response time is. So stay with us just for a second, okay? This is the In Wheel Time Show, and we'll be back right after this.
Is dedication?
I am the father of a 9-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old little boy, and I find fatherhood both relentlessly challenging and relentlessly rewarding. My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much, from the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night, and every moment in between. It really is so special, and boy, is it exhausting. One thing that I fear about being a parent is the future for my children. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings. But I'm also hopeful that the future holds a more inclusive and compassionate world for them.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Show. We appreciate you joining us for our Halloween edition. And we have on the line with us on our Zoom feed this morning a fellow by the name of Will Coleman. He's the founder and CEO of a company called Alto Rideshare that is actually now here in town in the Houston area, started up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So, Will, thanks again for joining us. But I wanted to ask you, how big is the fleet here? And you said that it's growing, but how big is the fleet right now?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I during the commercial break, I looked down at my phone. I'm actually not 100% sure. We started with about 25 vehicles down there. We shipped more down last week, and more are on the way. So it's probably in the 30s today, and we'll be growing from there quickly.
And then that leads me into my next question, and that is the fact that, to be able to compete with the two major players, not that you're not a major player, but the longer term players.
It's okay. We're still the
existing market
in this.
Well, I have to tell you that I'm a huge fan of the underdog. And so, and I don't mean to throw you under the bus there, but I mean, let's face it. I mean, the other guys have got a several-year head start on you, and we're talking
$2 billion too. I mean, I'm not so worried about the years, but it's $7 billion in the bank will definitely create a head start.
Yeah, but if one of them don't stay out of trouble, he's going to have to pay it all off in losses.
So let's talk about the size of the fleet and more specifically the response time with the fleet that you have, because let's face it, everybody and his mother is either an Uber or a Lyft driver, so you're competing with them too, are you not?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, we're out there trying to offer a differentiated service and believe that our customers choose us over those guys because of the fact that we're so different. I mean, if you have both of the other apps on your phone, you probably choose between them for a couple cents or maybe a minute of wait time. And the reason is because all the drivers and the vehicles are exactly the same. It's a real commodity, right? There's really no differentiation between the current products. And so what we thought is,
sometimes it's the same driver in the same car. The guy carries
absolutely
a lift
85% of the drivers are actually on both platforms.
Correct.
So it literally is the same driver in the same car in the vast majority of cases. Not only sometimes, pretty much every time.
But not with you guys.
Not with us. Not with us. You only know you're going to get a W-2 employed Alto driver in one of our vehicles, and that absolutely does mean that our wait times are slightly longer. We try to think of it more as planning time than wait time. So we ask our customers to plan 10 to 15 minutes in advance. Our average wait time is just over 10 minutes in our service area in Houston.
That's not bad.
And
no,
that's not bad at all.
And yeah, I mean, most people know where they're going to be going 10 minutes from now. And so we actually would prefer to be waiting on our customers than have our customers waiting on us. The first 5 minutes of wait time when we arrive is free. And so we just encourage our customers to spend that extra few minutes. It's actually really important, not only for the customer experience, but really for the cities that we operate in, including Houston. Obviously now during COVID, this isn't as big of an issue, but it's going to be one, which is congestion. And the studies absolutely show that congestion is a real problem in major cities around the U.S. and around the world, and it's been exacerbated by the rideshare industry. And the reason for that is because there are so many drivers. The difference in number of vehicles that you need on the road to offer a 3-minute wait time versus an 11-minute wait time is literally 100 times more cars. And so think about the impact of that in terms of congestion, vehicle miles traveled, emissions. These are really important issues that we think, our consumers might not fully understand at the start, but are things that I think make sense and people are willing to make that trade-off for.
So you made a comment a couple of seconds ago about Houston service area. What is your boundaries of your Houston service area right now, knowing that you're still expanding, but right now?
Yeah. You can see the map actually at ridealto.com/locations. So that's the easiest place to see our specific service area. We serve the greater Houston area in total, but our on-demand service area, the places in which we can really offer that 10 to 15-minute pickup window, is really mostly inside the loop, from kind of the Heights into the Galleria area, River Oaks, and up into inside 610 and just to the east of 610 on the eastern loop side. We're growing that service area constantly as we add more vehicles and drivers. We started in Dallas with about a 70-mile service area. We now serve 900 square miles of the DFW Metroplex. So, as we grow, we'll be able to serve more and more folks with that 10-minute pickup window.
That makes sense because, I mean, like so you're saying if I know Friday night is my wedding anniversary and I got a special date, I want to take my wife out, we want to have a nice time. If I know that 3 or 4 days ahead of time, then, I can schedule that. And so the wait time is really no big deal because it's kind of like making a reservation at the restaurant. You're going to do it all together.
We do offer pre-scheduled as well. Yeah. So, at ridealto.com/pre-schedule, there's a lot of websites out there, but at ridealto.com/pre-schedule, you can anywhere in Houston pre-schedule a ride, even outside of our on-demand service area. So if you're going out on that date or need to get to the airport or get home from the airport, you can pre-schedule that ride and we'll be there for you with absolutely no wait time.
Well, Will, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. I'm going to leave you with this question. Where are you going?
I'm headed home now to feed my twin babies. So we've got twin 4-month-olds and 2 others that are excited about Halloween. So I'm headed.
Well, I just wanted to get
one more question.
I just wanted to make sure that you weren't driving around the block on our dime.
Around and around. I keep seeing that car in the background. I noticed on your mask it says I voted with Alto. You've got. Isn't that what it says? It's kind of blurred out there.
Yeah, I voted with Alto. Yeah, thanks for noticing that. I voted yesterday with Alto, but the last day of early voting here in Texas, on Tuesday, November 3rd, we're actually offering free rides to the polls in both Houston and our Dallas service areas to anybody that needs a clean and safe ride to get to the local polling place and back. You can download the Alto app and put in the promo code VOTE2020, and that will get you access to 2 free rides to the polls and back on November 3rd.
So you're going to make rideshare great again.
I think maybe that might be my next baseball cap.
All right, very good. Will Coleman, thanks so much for joining us. RideAlto.com. We've got more of the In Wheel Time Car Show coming up right after a very quick break, so we invite you to stay tuned.
Thanks, man.
It's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hi, it's Olivia Munn with my shelter pets, Frankie and Chance. Say hi, guys. When I adopted them, I discovered that they both have incredible personalities. Chance's sole purpose in life is to love and to be loved. Frankie is a little bit of a scoundrel and always entertaining. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the Humane Society of the United States, and Maddie's Fund.
Welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Show. We very much appreciate you riding along with us today instead of ridealto.com.
What we need to do is we need to talk to Mr. Coleman and say, hey, you know.
Is it Coleman or Goldman?
Coleman.
Agador Abbott Spartacus.
Agador Spartacus.
Well, what he needs to do is they need to be playing our show in their cars.
That's exactly right. And we need to have it on a loop.
Okay.
So it'll loop every 2.5 hours.
We could do that.
The driver will hear that over and over.
Well, I'm gonna definitely download the app because they're Texas based. You know, and I think that's pretty cool. Even though they're still growing in Houston, I like the fact that they're Texas based.
Time now for this hour's car review. I had a chance to drive the Lexus LS 500.
Oh gosh.
What?
You always get such cool cars.
And you know what?
That is luxury.
You think?
Yes.
You know what I've misplaced?
Your car review.
No, I've got the car review, but I've only got half of it. You see, I'm missing a page.
So George Skelton said, what car rideshare service do ghosts use? Boober. Thanks, George.
Wah, wah, wah.
We need to get some better sound effects on that.
No,
you know. Well, I'm trying to burn a little time while you're looking.
Well, no,
for
I
whatever
found
it
it.
is.
I found it.
Okay.
Can I go on now?
I don't know. Can you?
No, I can't. Okay, it's the 2020 Lexus LS 500, and there's only one trim level, so that's it.
Super duper.
I guess so. It is the one. Size and class, it's called a midsize.
Oh, that's a big car.
It's a big car.
It's the biggest midsize I've ever
Well, that's
seen.
your U.S. government at work. They classified it as a midsize. It's a full-size sedan. Seats up to 5, but 4, really, especially because there's an option in the back. You can have buckets in the back. And you want those buckets.
Oh, yeah, I would think so.
Not the massaging.
Did yours have
35?
the buckets in the
Well,
back?
yeah, it had everything.
Yours always
This
does.
car was all new version for 2018. Needless to say, modern, classy design. You'll notice the nice bridge there in the background
San
with a
Francisco.
signature spindle grille, edgy headlight and side view mirrors, chrome rocker panel trim. Really kind of brought the look of the car down to the ground, so it has that kind of thing going for it. Sculpted taillights with built-in trunk spoiler. What I liked about it, the understated, elegant design of it. What could use improvement? Overpowering oversized grille. Interior highlights. Highly detailed design elements inside of this. And once you start looking at it, you're going to go, oh my gosh, they did that too. Optional quilted, stitched perforated seating,
Say
which
that
is
again.
which is a $3,730 option. Hey, digital dash in infotainment display. Function control overload is all I can say, because you can control every single bit of this car.
Look at that steering wheel. That's a lot of buttons.
Yeah. You like that?
It's like a phone touchpad on
Pretty
a
much.
phone.
Cargo trunk room, it's big. What I liked about it, the control panel for the rear seat passengers and the fold-down center armrest, it's almost as big as the entire front dashboard. It's impressive, needless to say. What could use improvement? Replace that control panel touchpad in the center console with a wireless phone charger instead. All right.
You are so spoiled. I need a wireless phone charger.
All of the cars I'm getting now have wireless phone chargers.
Except this one.
Except this one. Twin turbo, 3.5 liter V6, 416 horsepower,
Wow.
442 pound-feet of torque, and it acts like a huge V8 engine in there. 10-speed automatic transmission, 19 city, 30 highway for a combined of 23. I got 22.6 miles per gallon over 334.4 miles.
Did you hammer
What
it?
I liked about it, perfect power match. Yes, I did, and boy, it does go. With that 10-speed, man, it gets up and moves. What could use improvement? Nothing. Engine acts like a V8. Ride and handling. Long wheelbase, controlled smoothness. Loved it. What could use improvement? Nothing. It's a luxury car with luxury car manners. And boy, I'll tell you what, there's no floater on this thing. It does not float down the highway at all. But that long wheelbase, it is to die for. Base trim price, $75,450. As tested, $94,075. Base model price, $75,450, because there's only one trim level.
But it's a high-level luxury.
BMW 7 Series.
Yeah, that's as good.
Entry level, $86,450. Porsche Panamera, $87,200. And the Mercedes-Benz S-Class is $94,250 to get in.
But that's where that car plays at that level. You know, and it kind of fits there. I'd probably say also the Audi 7.
And I also want to mention the fact that the Lexus is one of the most highly rated in customer satisfaction.
Over and over
again. And I can tell you from experience, many years ago, I owned remember the original Lexus LS? Lexus RX. The Lexus RX, the little
Sport
bitty
utility.
the little egg-looking SUV. Man, I still love that car. I wish I had that car still. What a great car that was. All right. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, TuneIn, Google Podcast, and Podcast Addict. The In Wheel Time Car Show continues after a quick break. So stay with us.
What's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
They say singing can help you remember things, so here's some tips for parents out there during these tough times.
Number 1.
Make sure your kids wash their hands for 20 seconds after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside. 2. Virtual play dates. Social and physical distancing can help save lives.
3.
Tell them they're safe and show your love and pride. Yes, we'll get through this together. Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Many buttons.
There's too many buttons and too many things to do. Howdy, and this is the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Show.
We won an award?
One.
No, I think we won 2.
Way back, and stop fooling with your microphone. Way back when, back in the day, probably 10 years ago or so.
It wasn't.
Oh, wait, wasn't that long ago?
It was Antron
Well,
Brown's
I don't
interview,
have any hardware to prove it, so
It
I
was
wasn't given. I wasn't
Antron
given
Brown's interview 2 years ago.
I wasn't given any of the hardware. So there's one person that continues to hog all of the awards, and I don't ever get one. So that's okay. I know my place. It's not.
No, you don't.
You got one, didn't you?
Yeah, I got one.
You got one. He got one. The dog got one. Where's the Suze?
You want a Suze cam?
Where's the Suze cam?
She's right
do we
there on
have?
the
Do we
floor.
have? There she is. Oh, there she is. She's knocked out down
Like
there.
the rest of our listeners, sound asleep.
Sound asleep. So, if you remember correctly, which I don't, if I didn't have notes, I'd be totally lost. Well, I'm still lost anyway. But at any,
The second thing to go is your memory.
that's what I hear. What?
You can't remember, though, huh?
Can't remember that. Anyway, several weeks ago, we had, was it Nicole?
Nicole?
We had Nicole on, Nicole Wakeland, only because we couldn't get Alice on.
It was a little technical. There was a technical difficulty.
She logged in late.
No, it wasn't a technical difficulty. It was
I was trying to be nice.
No, it's not about us. It's about you.
I wasn't here. That was the problem.
Oh, was
It
that the
David.
problem? Oh, that was David.
I'm throwing David under the bus on that one.
Well, they're both here now. Let's get to them.
All right, so we're going to talk about a thing called the Rebel. Correct?
Rebel?
No.
I think it's Rebel.
Rebelle.
Rebel,
Let's
yes.
ask them.
Rebel Rally Desert Race. Nicole Wakeland and Alice Chase are with us right now. Ladies, good morning to you all.
Good morning.
I see a smile on your face. You're going to go, oh, my God, who are these idiots? They're going to interview us now. But at any rate, it's great to see you guys. So I'm going to let you guys explain exactly what the Rebel Rally Desert Race was, how you got involved, what car you drove, what was the experience like, and did you win? So go.
All right, well, I'll start. The
Okay.
Rebel Rally. The Rebel Rally is a 7-day, 8-day rally. It felt like forever. No, it was great. Over through the Nevada and California desert. It is completely a navigational rally, so it's not a rally for speed. But we have no GPS, no any other device.
Wait, hold it right there. Wait a minute. No GPS? What do you have to do? Do you have to actually have a map or something to go by?
Well, we have a map, but it's not a road map. It's a topographical map. So we have longitude and latitude coordinates, map and compass.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck on that. Boy, I'd be totally lost on that thing.
So, and it is I believe the longest, both by distance and time, desert rally in the U.S. and it happens to be just only women.
Only women. Okay. So in other words, you wouldn't have a problem stopping at a gas station and asking for directions like we would.
No, in fact, due to the current times, that was not even allowed. So
okay.
We would have been disqualified if we did that.
Don would have cheated.
I would have cheated. I would have cheated and gone to the gas station going, hey, you know how to get there?
So what were you guys driving?
We were driving an Infiniti QX80, which is a great big luxury SUV. And Infiniti made a couple of changes to it. They gave it a lift, gave it some better tires, gave it a little modified suspension and some skid plates for handling all the dirt and rocks and stuff that we were driving over for 7 days.
How many miles did this course take you?
It's 1,200 miles roughly altogether, so it's pretty long.
1,200 miles, and it's not a speed or timed event, so I would imagine that there was probably some hair-raising terrain that you went over?
Yeah, some of the terrain, you're on a mix of terrain. Sometimes you're just on sort of packed desert sand. There's a lot of rocky bits. We finished up in Glamis, not that far outside of San Diego, where there's these giant sand dunes, which is its own little world of driving in soft sand when it's 100 degrees. So it's all types of terrain that we drive through.
Now, you two drove together, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So you were the team, the Infiniti team.
Correct.
Did one of you drive the whole time and the other navigator, or you switch?
We did. We chose to, different teams do it differently. We chose to hone in. I navigated. Nicole was the driver primarily the whole time.
So did you navigate like the guys do in the rally cross, where it's the hand like this and the hand like this, and because you're going so fast, you got to really stay ahead of it, or were you guys kind of staying at highway speeds or off-road speeds?
Definitely, the speeds were much lower. It was definitely not a race, so we're not doing that kind of thing. Navigation was really just assessing what the terrain was like, and we have different checkpoints throughout the rally that we have to hit. So there are a lot of decisions that we're making every day, and that changes day by day, hour by hour.
All right, so it's mind-boggling. Did you have? Was there a chase car? I call it a chase car. Was there somebody accompanying you, following you to make sure that nothing happened to you guys?
Well, there's not like a specific chase car assigned to each team, but we all have satellite trackers on our cars. So they know where we are, even if somehow we don't know where we are, they're aware of where we are. And you have a satellite phone. So if you really got into trouble, something went terribly wrong, you can still reach out for help. So
an emergency or something.
Exactly. If there's an emergency, you can still get help. And if they, you're supposed to be going one way and you are way the other way, they can call you on the satellite phone and say, hey, reassess where you are. You're going the wrong way.
That's what Don needs.
Yeah, make a left at the next crossing, right?
Well, I had a problem going from the house out here.
So where were you? Where was the race at? General area.
We began in near South Lake Tahoe, and we ended in Glamis near San Diego.
Wow, that's a long haul.
So southwest is the way that you traveled.
South.
Yeah.
So what did you do for like overnight?
There's no fancy accommodations. You're not going to a hotel. Every team has a tent or sometimes two tents if each want their own. You're camping, and they have it set up that way. So you camp, you haul your stuff back and forth from your car, and they have they have like a really gigantic food truck that provides really good food throughout the rally. That's what you're doing every night, every morning.
So you got to find the food truck first.
So in other words, you're going through this rally, but you're actually together, but you're not talking to the other teams. Is that how it works?
This year I would say this year is a little bit different. There is a base camp most evenings, with the exception of like one or two nights where there is some camaraderie. This year being what it was, things were much different. We were still practicing social distancing, mask wearing and things like that. So it was a little bit different than it has been in previous years, but I would definitely say the teams help each other when they're on the course. If somebody gets stuck in the sand, it is just good sportsmanship to stop and help to dig them out or to give them advice if they're having mechanical difficulty, things like that.
So riding in a luxury sport utility vehicle like the Q80, tell us the truth. Did you just recline the seats and sleep inside the truck?
I want you to hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break, and you're going to answer that when we come back, so stay with us.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
They say singing can help you remember things, so here's some tips for parents out there during these tough times. Number 1. Make sure your kids wash their hands for 20 seconds after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside. 2. Virtual playdates. Social and physical distancing can help save lives. 3. Tell them they're safe and show your love and pride. Yes, we'll get through this together. Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. It's the In Wheel Time Car Show. We're talking to Nicole Wakeland and Alice Chase, Rebel Rally Desert Race Team in the Infinity moniker, if you will. And so my question, no, you asked the question.
So one of our internet listeners and that is watching was asking the question. This sounds like a blast. Obviously it does, and I'm really jealous. And I might have to change the way I dress or something. Anyway, she was wanting to know, is this open to anyone, or is it, could a team from any place join?
Yeah, anybody can join. There's no restriction. I mean, you have to have a basic knowledge of how to drive off-road. I mean, this can't be the first time you've ever taken a car off pavement. And you have to have a basic knowledge of how to do the navigation, plotting latitude and longitude. But it's not like you have to be a professional or have specific professional qualifications. Anybody who wants to give it a go can participate in the Rebel Rally.
So how did you guys get involved? How did you guys do this?
Nicole and I had each covered the event in previous years as media, so we were a little bit familiar with some of the procedures and the participants and staff, and it was something we both decided the next year, we're like, you know what, we would like to give this a go as a team, and both being there to cover it before, it worked out really well.
Okay. So what are y'all's backgrounds? I guess journalism?
Yeah, I'm an automotive journalist. I've been covering the industry for probably about 10 years. So normally I'm writing about cars and things like the Rebel Rally, and other times when it's not 2020, traveling all over the place, doing first drives of vehicles all around the country.
God. And who do you write for? Are you just a freelancer?
I freelance for probably about a half a dozen or so different sites, the Boston Globe, Auto by Tel. I do stuff for Carfax, AAA. I'm kind of all over the place.
And you're located up in the New England area, right?
Yes, I'm in New Hampshire where we had our first snow of the season last night.
I spent many a month in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and York Beach.
Oh, yeah, not far away. Maybe like an hour away from me, Portsmouth.
Yeah. So, Alice, you're in Texas, though.
Yes, correct. So I've also been writing about cars for several years now, more in a lifestyle type perspective. I have my own site, thrillofthechases.com. And then also, like Nicole, involved in several automotive associations and things like that.
So the people that you were on the rally with, do they have similar backgrounds or are they more diverse?
Most people, there's a few other women who actually are automotive journalists who participated. Most women aren't. A lot of off-road enthusiasts driving their own vehicles. They have all sorts of tricked out cars. Some of them are vintage cars. There was a 69 Bronco. Hopefully I'm not saying the wrong year. And that was their car. So they're all ages, all backgrounds. There were executives, there were nurses, there were chefs. There's everything.
You guys know Sue Mead?
Yes.
Was she there?
She did not participate. She was going to be there, but, you know, the way things are these days, It didn't happen. They didn't have as much media in this time.
Well, we totally understand that. Sue's been a long-time friend of ours for many decades. Can I say that?
I don't use the word decade at my age.
Yeah, no. Well, you can just imagine with all of us white-haired guys sitting around here. But don't say anything. Don't say a word.
The Rebel Rally is a women's only event. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Right. So how many teams were there?
There were 36 teams, I think.
Oh, my God. I had no clue. I thought maybe a dozen. 36. Wow.
And that was smaller because because of COVID, there were teams that normally there's international teams. I think there was one team from Canada, I think only one, that was able to make it, but teams from other areas of the world couldn't come this year. So they had some people who would have been there but couldn't.
So this is a time to distance rally, and then the cumulative time variance is what ranks you at the end. Is that correct?
It's more points. There's not a time variable in there to rank you. You have a certain amount of time each day, like anywhere from 9 to almost 11 hours. But it's all those checkpoints you get. Different colored checkpoints are worth different values, and it's how many of those checkpoints you manage to hit correctly, and the number of points you collect each day that decides who wins the whole thing.
Was everybody on the same route?
No, there were at least, sort of, kind of. We're sort of on the same general route, but you might have, there's some checkpoints that are the same for everyone, the green points, which are the easy ones. But the blue checkpoints, there's different blue checkpoints, which are a little harder, and black checkpoints are even harder still. And you may or may not have the same ones as other teams. So you never really quite know unless you looked at each other's sheets that you get each day.
So harder as in harder to locate or harder to access? Like you needed to have a real off-road vehicle to get up to the top of the hill to get to it?
A little bit of both, depending on the checkpoint. The major difference is green checkpoints have this giant flag, like the kind of thing you'd see sitting outside like a fast food restaurant saying, we're open, come in and have coffee or whatever. The blue checkpoints have like a 4-foot, sometimes a flag, and sometimes it looks just like a metal rebar sticking out of the ground that's painted blue. And the black checkpoints don't have anything. So you're just doing your best to navigate to where you think that exact latitude and longitude is, clicking your tracker and sort of crossing your fingers that you got it right. But there's no actual way to know you're in the right spot because there's no marker.
Oh, my God. I'd be so dang lost.
How did it point you? Did you pick something up at that location or what? How did it know you reached that black checkpoint?
I'm sorry, say that again?
How does the system know that you reached that black checkpoint?
Well, we have a satellite, like a tracker, and when you click it, it knows your GPS position. And once you click it, it sends that to the rally. And then you'll then see where you are actually versus where you might think you are. And that's how you know you're in the right spot.
Were you ever any miles off? Other than feet off, but miles off?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Well, how many miles off were you?
Depends on the day.
Well, how fun is that? Well, let's see. We're only 30 miles off.
So where did you guys finish? Am I allowed to ask? Does it really matter?
You can ask. We finished, I think we weren't at the top of the pack. I think we were something like 24th or so, or 25th. But I had, for me, the first time Alice and I have ever done this, and I had 3 goals. Don't kill Alice, don't kill me, don't kill the car, and I did that.
So you accomplished all the goals you set up for. And finished as well.
And finished, so I guess 4.
And had a luxury car to ride along in to do it.
Well, it has been a delight to follow you guys. And, hey, follow us, will you?
I guess.
You guess. We just go from the house here to Studio A. So, I mean, it's not a whole lot to do. But
and if somebody's looking for information about the rally itself, they go to...
You can just Google Rebel Rally. They have a website. They have everything you need, the cost, the equipment, the time frames for everything. They're already taking registrations for 2021.
There you go, Candace.
Are you guys going to do it again?
I don't know. I think I might be a one and done. I don't know about Alice.
I could be persuaded to maybe do it again. The right sponsor, the right partner. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it has been a delight to talk to you guys and to kind of follow along in this, disjointed as it may be in 2020. I can't tell you. We're kind of living life through you guys, so we really appreciate you spending the time with us today and explaining all of the stupid questions that we ask because we just don't know. And
we're real good at asking stupid questions.
We're really good at that. So stay in touch with us. Let's kind of have a date, in another month or two. And see what you guys are up to, shall we?
Absolutely. That sounds good.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We really appreciate you. So that's Nicole Wakeland and Alice Chase, the Rebel Rally Race Team.
Sounds like a hoot.
So cool.
It is. It is very cool.
Can you drive if you go in drag?
That's what I was saying. I changed the way I dress. Maybe we could get in.
I can. It's the only thing is that the pumps just absolutely kill my feet after a while on that gas and brake pedal.
He always drives in drag.
Your voice, believe it or not, if you want it, can be heard too. Just shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Splash and go. And we are back with Conrad's This Week in History, along with some of the stories making auto news headlines. So
if I leave you any time.
Which he hasn't been doing. But, it is what it is, and I'm just going to go with it. So, thanks.
Do you know what teens just love? Not being told what you're supposed to love. That's not anyone's business but yours. It doesn't matter what you love, but if you love it, click it. That includes you too. Because in 2018, 42% of Texas teens who died in traffic crashes were not wearing their seatbelts. Make sure everyone is buckled up. Every rider, every ride. Brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.
Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild-to-wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com. That kind of sounds like rally music, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
As we're bouncing across the desert,
going fast.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Baja.
Here, let me turn it.
We're
going, baby.
Don has new toys that he's playing with over here.
I did.
He's really enjoying.
I've got
himself.
this. I've got this thing here that's got lots of buttons on it that I get to program. Tons of fun.
We're going to put sound effects in it eventually once Don figures out how to do that.
I know how to do it. It just takes the time to do it. All right. Welcome back. This is the In Wheel Time Car Show. Thanks for joining us on this Halloween show of ours. Notice our Halloween decorations. Thank you, Jeff Zekin. We appreciate you. Let me have the bird again.
Oh gosh, he's going to do this.
I know, but I've got.
We're going to listen to the motor run.
Hold on a minute.
Don's going. Jeff brought us this black.
Okay, I got it now. All right.
Jeff brought this black crow that talks, and Don is just amazed with it.
I am, and I found the speaker. So here you go. This is some of the things that it says.
God.
See, isn't that cool?
George says, why do skeletons have low self-esteem? Because they have nobody to love. Nobody to love. Thanks, George.
Okay, Conrad has this week in auto history.
In 1908, Champion incorporated the Champion Ignition Company in Flint, Michigan. And they did that with the backing of Buick Motor Company, as pretty much anything that happened in Flint, Michigan, was generally backed with by Buick. So they ended up manufacturing spark plugs for Buick. In 1920, Harley-Davidson finally registered their first trademark, and they've been building motorcycles for some time, but in 1920, Harley-Davidson finally registered their trademark. There's a board track racer, Harley-Davidson of 1920 fame, and I was kind of surprised. I did a little research on this. They had like 15 different models back in 1920. Wow. And you never really thought, for me, I would think back then there was just one. I love the sidecar too. So they actually trademarked motorcycles, bicycles, sidecars, and parcel cars. I could not find a picture of a parcel car.
A mail truck.
Right.
Mail.
And then in 1954, Chevrolet introduced the small block Chevy without an oil filter.
What year?
1954.
I thought it was 55.
54 is when they introduced it. 55 is when they produced it. So, also in 1954, the last true Hudson was produced by the Hudson Motor Car Company.
God, that's ugly.
I actually thought the back of it looked pretty cool.
Oh, my God, it's ugly.
And at one point, it was ranked the number 11th in automobile production.
It's amazing.
And then in 1955, Hudson merged with Nash Kelvinator.
That's not Nash Kelvinator.
That's Sammy Swindell. He was born in 1955 and became a dominant dirt track racer across. And he also raced Indy cars, and he spent a little time in NASCAR as well. Super champion. Toyota in 1957. Was founded in California, was founded in the United States. In 1963, Lamborghini introduced the 350 GTV, and Lamborghini had bought a Ferrari, and he had problems with it, brought it back to Enzo, and Enzo gave him the thumbs up, so he went ahead and built his own car to dominate over Ferrari. So they've been
shot
going back
them the
and
finger.
forth. He gave him the.
Yeah.
In 1975 this week, Evel Knievel did his longest jump. Evel jumped 133 feet over the top of 14 Greyhound buses in Kings Island near Cincinnati, Ohio. And Evel set a number of world records, including the most bones broke in your body. In 2006, the final Ford Taurus was built and given to Truett Cathy, the owner of Chick-fil-A. And if you don't remember what the last Ford Taurus looked like, you'll see a picture of it here in just a second. and the final Ford Taurus. You got to remember, Ford Taurus really introduced the world to aerodynamic cars back in the early 90s. And that's this week in automotive history.
Thank you very much, sir. A couple of stories making automotive news headlines this week. Volkswagen recalling 218,192 vehicles in the U.S. because the fuel rail bolts may loosen, allowing fuel to leak.
Sounds like a thermal event to me.
Exactly. The recalled vehicles are 2016 to 2018 Volkswagen Jetta sedans. Safercar.gov. Go there. Ask you for your VIN number. Type in your VIN number, and it will tell you if your car has a recall.
Open or closed. If the recall's been done, it'll let you know that. If it still needs to be done, it'll tell you that as well.
General Motors Super Cruise, once again, edged Tesla's Autopilot in an evaluation of 17 vehicles equipped with active driving assistance systems by Consumer Reports.
You experienced a Super Cruise in that Cadillac.
I did. And it was quite amazing. It was my first experience with a car that pretty much drove itself, kind of. And it was an experience. Let me put it that way. It's eerie to sit behind the wheel and watch the wheel. Let go and watch the wheel turn and then disengage itself if it doesn't know where it is, which is kind of a frightening thing.
And hopefully you were close enough to the wheel.
Well, I was. Yes, I was paying attention.
Not taking a nap.
Yep. My nose itches. What does it mean when your nose itches? When you scratch your hand, you're going to make
Too much Coke.
Too much Coke. It'd be cocaine. That's not the problem. Thank you very much. Not enough cocaine, apparently.
Well, actually, it wouldn't itch. It'd be numb.
It would be numb. That's what I understand. Ask the people that drank the first Cokes. They would be able to tell you. So the Model Y, fitted with Autopilot, finished a distant second to Cadillac, and the CT6 equipped with Super Cruise, which is like the one that I had. GM's rolling out more than 20 vehicles, including its new Hummer electric pickup, over the next 3 years that are going to have this feature on it. Mm-hmm. In the latest test conducted this summer on a track and on public roads, Cadillac scored 69 points out of a possible 100, while the Tesla scored 57. The Lincoln Corsair, equipped with Ford Motor Company's Copilot 360 system, finished third with 52.
Chrysler renewed the trademark on the name CUDA this week.
Oh, so that means that they're going to...
I would think so. Are they going to create another CUDA? I would think if they're going to spend
Which is
the money
short
on
for Barracuda.
Right, yeah, but in 70, they dropped Barracuda and it became CUDA all by...
With the in front of CUDA.
How'd that go?
A little up there. Yeah. Don't read that. Do this.
Pass it on. You were supposed to pass
it on. I was supposed to pass it on. I wasn't supposed to read it.
You're reading my mail?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
So Nissan, the Z Proto, the 400Z, is in the United States and getting a little bit of test driving. And it's going to have a 400 horsepower twin-turbo 3-liter. And it's on a press tour in Japan right now, and it's shortly to be in the United States.
Okay. And finally, General Motors defense subsidiary, which delivered its first infantry squad vehicle on Tuesday to the U.S. Army, could soon use GM's electrification development for military applications. A vehicle based on the Chevy Colorado Z2 can transport 9 soldiers and their equipment. Despite coronavirus-related challenges, GM developed the vehicle in just 4 months after it was awarded a $214.3 million defense contract in June. And that is it for this hour of the In Wheel Time Car Show. We've got another hour coming up, so we invite you to stay with us. We'll be back after this quick break.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Bank Strong, and the Ad Council.
Hello. And welcome to our program.
At least we had music.
I wish we had music too. And, you know, it is one of those kind of moments that we all have from time to time. But I would like to welcome you to the In Wheel Time show from Studio A in Texas, USA. Coming up on this hour, we've got the new car showroom. It is the 2020 Nissan Kicks. The Nissan Kicks. You know, I'm thinking there's a breakfast cereal in that somewhere. We're going to give you an in-depth review. We've also got a couple of special guests we think you really enjoy. You'll also get this week's automotive news, Conrad's Car Clinic, and more just ahead on today's In Wheel Time Car Show for Saturday, October 31st. In case you've been living under a rock, it's Halloween, friends. Boo. Along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Zekin off camera, Don Armstrong here. Glad you could join us. And you say that we don't have our guest. We're working on that.
Give me 30 seconds.
Yep, we're working on it.
You've had plenty of seconds.
At my age, I need every second I can get.
Yeah, and those seconds are clicking off fast, aren't they? They are.
You know FCA CEO Mike Manley, right?
I have met Mike Manley.
Did you hear what they announced this week?
No.
They announced they are going to do an EV Ram truck.
Well, is that a surprise?
No, it's not a surprise, but, you know, when you look at Rivian, Ford announced the F-150, the Hummer EV out there, they're following suit, and they're going to bring a fully electric Ram truck out. Be interesting to see how that, what differentiates that from what everybody else is doing.
And there's several stories that are working this week about all of these different EV manufacturers, including trucks. And you know, this is going to be kind of like the whole .com thing. And everybody's going to go, oh, ours is the best. Ours is the greatest. We got lots of money. Yeah, there will be some non-survivors. So my word to the wise is going to be, make sure if you're going to go buy yourself an EV anything, that you buy it from somebody that you know is going to be around in 2 years, because you may wind up with one of those weird old vehicles that'll wind up in somebody's collection 20 years from now going, hey, they only made 50 of these. Look at me.
Yeah, like the Chevy S10 EV they made back in the 90s. You know what Ram? You know what?
Any of those around?
Yeah, there's a couple of them still around. They were all fleet vehicles.
Whatever.
Now the EV1 or it was a show car called the Impact, which is just a bad name for a car, but they were all leased and they were all collected back.
Impact.
Except for like 5 or 6 of them, and actually Jay Leno still has one of them. I think just his relationship with General Motors, they let him keep it. So. Pretty interesting.
I wish. Can you go on his website and find out all the cars he's got?
Oh yeah, he's got a very detailed list and video of most all of the cars.
He's got some of probably one of the widest ranging collections of cars I've ever seen.
Yeah, he has that 55 Buick that's actually on a Corvette C6 chassis that he takes out and smokes people with. It's got a big block in it. Yeah, from steam to electric. Yeah. You know, and my vote for the Ram electric Ram truck, they should call it the Ram Charger. Bring an old name back from the past, huh?
Ooh.
That'd be pretty cool.
Man, I like that. I like the sounds of that a lot.
Well, there is no sound to an electric vehicle.
There's really not. But there is some sound with our next guest.
All right. Well, we've spent a little bit of time giving Mars a chance to redeem himself. Let's see if it works.
So if you've got a car, and no matter whether it sits in the garage or it sits outside, chances are that if it's a car that you take to car shows, if you just, like me, doesn't have a place to put it indoors.
And you still want to protect it.
Yeah, you need a car cover. And I've had this one here for 2 years. Oddly enough, joining us right now is Tim Tiata, and he is with Sealskin Covers. Hi, Tim. How are you? Thanks for joining us.
Not a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's not a pleasure. Yeah, we've had people tell us that before.
Yeah, lots of times. So, Tim, I actually have a sealskin cover on my car out there.
Do you?
I do.
I didn't know that.
That's an actual sealskin that's on there, yeah. And the funny thing about it is mine is an outdoor, obviously, and it kind of looks like sealskin. It's got that gray kind of a dull thing when it's out of water. But mine is, these things don't last forever. And let me tell you, mine's sitting underneath the tree with huge rainstorms and everything else.
And your dog climbing up and sleeping on the hood of your Corvette underneath the sealskin cover.
And well, thank God I've got the sealskin cover. There's a story for your website. I'm going to get a picture of the dog on top of it. So, Tim, I wanted to talk to you today about the different kinds of car covers. And first of all, I want to start with something that I'm sure that you've heard more than once. Why do you not have mirror pockets on some of the car covers?
Definitely, guys. So when it comes to buying a car cover, there's probably three different things that you want to look at, right? The first is the use. Why do you need a car cover? Is it because of a lot of sun damage? Is it because you live in an area that has a lot of hail or maybe a lot of snow? Or is it, you know what I mean? So ultimately you want to figure out, why do you need a car cover? Second is the fabric that you're going to be using. And the last is the fit. So to answer your question, one of the reasons why we've engineered the mirror pockets out of our car covers is two reasons, actually. One is that's sort of the first pressure point where the cover actually starts to rip. So when the cover starts to take a beating, the first place it starts to tear, the first place it starts to stress is at the mirror pockets. And the second is the fit. So for us, we want, our goal was to try to make the best car cover possible at the best price possible. That's sort of what our goal is. Because ultimately, when you, regardless of what car cover you buy, you mentioned, it's going to take a beating and you're going to start to see it wear down. So for us, when we were designing our car covers, we're like, okay, well, we're passionate about cars. We know that people want to protect their cars, but do they want to spend $300, $400, $500 on a car cover, or do they want to have a dependable car cover where when they see it completely beat up, they sort of envision, wow, that's the damage that my car could have taken. You know what I mean? So when I see my car cover totally beat up, torn, I'm almost proud of that, right? Because I'm like, wow. That's what was, you know what I mean? Like, I'm proud of the damage that my car cover takes because I feel like that's the damage that my vehicle could have been
Absolutely.
taking.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and they're not, nothing lasts forever. And, here we go from 100-degree heat and total sunshine, where I can't even imagine what the temperature inside the car is.
To a hailstorm.
Well, we've had 2 hurricanes this year.
Yeah, 52 inches of rain.
Yeah. So we kind of pretty much see it all here. Granted, it doesn't sit under snow for 6 months out of the year, but it certainly gets its own fair share of wear and tear. And mine has got some holes in it, I will tell you that, back there where the tail lights are. Why, I don't know. Probably the squirrels have been eating at it or something. But whatever the case may be, yes, you're exactly right. And yes, I do have a couple of pieces of tape where it's actually poked through and it's worn. It's got some old age marks on it. It's damaged goods like me.
But it's
doing its job.
But it protected your car, and that's the purpose of this.
Yeah, exactly. So let's start with the outdoors, because I think that those are the ones that really take the real bruising, the real beating, aren't they?
Yeah. So when it comes to the outdoors, there's probably 3 different fabrics that you guys want to look at, right? So if you want to go premium, the best possible fabric that you want to buy, it'll probably be a Sunbrella cover. So Sunbrella is a kind of fabric that is designed to really be the top. It's almost like the Cadillac or the Mercedes of fabrics when it comes to just a waterproof, breathable fabric. So you'll see a lot of boat covers, for example, being made from Sunbrella. Now, the sort of the issue with that, though, is you're looking at maybe a $300, $400, $500 cover, depending on the fit, right? Because here's what we realized when we started Sealskin, there was really only 2 options that people had when it came to covers. You either had a fully custom cover, or you have the universal one-size-fits-all cover, right? And so what people did is, when it comes to a fully custom cover, you'll start to see the fabric or the quality fabric come down, where the fit improves, right? Because people are selling the fit. And so it's like, oh, here's a fully custom cover. And you're thinking like, okay, I'm getting a great cover. Turns out maybe it's a great fit, but then the fabric isn't so hot. Then you have a universal one-size-fits-all cover. You have a situation where you're like, okay, well, I'm going to try to get a better fabric, but then it's like a one-size-fits-all kind of fabric. And so what we're trying to say is basically Sunbrella ends up being the best quality fabric, but it's a very expensive cover. And a lot of times you can end up getting a Sunbrella cover with a really terrible fit in an attempt to bring down the price of the cover. The second would be a polypurethane, which is like an oil-based kind of fabric. That's sort of the go-to when it comes to car covers. It's a solid fabric. It's waterproof. It's tough. It's durable. Tends to dry out though in the sun, so you have a situation where in the rain and in the snow and hail does a really great job. But if you live in an area that is like Arizona, maybe Florida, and you really don't get much rain at all, it's just a lot of sun, it'll tend to dry it out and it starts to crack a little. And then the last would be a polyester. So polyester is sort of in the middle. It's probably the go-to when it comes to a car cover. Why? Because you get the toughness. You get the waterproof, the tough, the durability of, let's say, like a polypurethane, but then you also get the sun resistance that you might get from a Sunbrella. So it ends up being sort of like the best bang for your buck when it comes to a car cover, a polyester fabric.
So what does Sealskin have?
So Sealskin has both. So we have polypurethane and we have polyester covers.
So which one do you recommend that Don Armstrong gets?
So our best car cover is a polyester cover. I mean, you get a car cover that is basically as versatile as can be. So whether you live in an area where there's a lot of sun or an area where there's a lot of rain, you get a car cover that's going to be able to deal with both. And it's for us, one of the things that we know we factor in is something that customers should be looking at as well is who you buy and the service that you get from your buying, because your car cover is going to get destroyed. I mean, that's its job is to take a beating for your car. And so you want to make sure that the warranties and the stuff are in place so that you're ultimately getting the best value. So for us, we look at it like this. We're like, okay, well, we're going to design a cover that's the best fit possible, the best price possible, the best fabric possible at the best price possible, ultimately the best value proposition. So let's also bring in a warranty. So we have a 10-year warranty where ultimately it looks like you end up getting two covers for the price of one, right? So you get a cover, and if anything ever happens to that cover, you get a brand new cover. And so when we compare our value proposition to our competitors, you end up getting pretty much the best deal possible.
So it's not just the cover; it's the company that stands behind the cover as well.
It is, because your cover is going to get beat up. So if you're going to be sitting there and you're going to think like, oh, well, I'm going to get the best cover possible. 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, 6 years from now, your cover is going to be looking like it went through a tornado. And so, are you going to be? Ultimately, you want to be able to deal with a cover or have purchased from a cover that's going to be helping you during that situation.
Tim, I want you to stay with us because we're going to talk about indoor covers and the difference between those in just a second, okay? Stay with us. This is the In Wheel Time Car Show. Back in 60 seconds.
First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. 1, okay, cool guy. 2, 3 times. Next, I put it in reverse. Meep, meep, meep. Then I take it up and down, up and down. And that, kiddos, is called the forklift. Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. Now that's dancing. Sure beats flossing. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
As America gets back on the road, a lot of things have changed, but not the need for drivers to be safe. With that in mind, it's time to review our safe driving checklist. First, you're in your car.
Check.
You're sober.
Check.
You're wearing your seatbelt.
Check.
Your phone is put away.
Check.
Great. Make sure you follow the speed limit. And remember, law enforcement is enforcing traffic safety laws in our community to save lives. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hey, welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Show. We really appreciate you joining us. It is Halloween. Happy Halloween, Boo.
Boo. Happy birthday to my son. Happy birthday to him.
Was he born on Halloween?
Yes, sir.
How'd that work out?
Scary.
It was scary. Yeah. All right. With us, joining us is Tim Tiata, and he is with Sealskin Covers. Thanks for hanging in there with us, Tim. So I want to talk about indoor covers. What's the difference between the different levels of indoor covers? Because I know there's more than one.
So there is. So really there's two most popular indoor covers. If you are looking for an indoor cover because maybe you're working on your car and there's going to be a lot of oil or dirt or anything like that, you probably want to go with just like a simple one-layer polyester cover. That way it's affordable cover. It's a solid fit. You can beat it up. It can get dirty. It's totally fine. If you have a car that you're not working on, but you're just sort of storing inside, and you want to really just protect it, you probably want to go one of those satin elastic covers. You'll see them. They look like almost like leggings for
yoga pants.
Yeah, they look like yoga pants. Yeah, so those are.
Conrad knows about yoga pants because he's wearing them right now, and you just can't see it, Tim.
Fortunately.
Hey, believe me, you don't want to.
Yeah, he was excited. He's like, yoga pants.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, they're like sort of like yoga pants for your car, and so ultimately, you get good protection for your car, whether it's like dust, and they're breathable as well, so they'll prevent any mold or mildew. But they tend to be pricey. They're not the kind of car cover you want to be throwing on your car if you're working on your car.
Now I got a show car, and I'm extra careful about my show car. It's worth $250,000. What do I get?
Yeah, I would probably go with that elastic yoga pants for your car. I would probably go with that. If you have a show car, and
you're gonna change the name of it, aren't you? You're gonna call it Yoga Pants Car Cover.
Well,
yeah, I would probably do that.
Yeah.
Well, you've talked a couple of times about how important fit is. Now, I've got some different brand yoga pants cover for my Rally 350, and in their list of tell them what it is and the components of the car, I listed the factory rear wing on it. The cover that showed up doesn't deal with the factory rear wing, and what it does is it pulls real tight as I put the cover on. So when you talk about fit, as you were talking about with the sealskin cover, I was really understanding how important fit is, because those kind of stresses on the cover over time are going to cause damage to it as well.
For sure. No, definitely. So things like a lot of obviously a car is, people love their cars, and a lot of people will customize their cars, aftermarket wings, all kinds of things. So you want to make sure that whoever you purchase, you let them know, so they'll make a slight adjustment for those kinds of additions or those kinds of features on your vehicle. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the fit. If you can have a fully custom car cover where like it's made specifically for that model, there's a price to pay, and ultimately for a lot of car owners, it's not worth it. Now, one of those satin elastic car covers, it tends to adjust really well and fit around those situations because they're a little bit more elastic. Yes, does it create stress points around? It does, but they definitely do a better job of, let's just say, like a standard like polyurethane or like a polyester cover, which is less elastic. There tend to be more workhorse covers more so than covers that are form-fitting.
They're like a loose pair of underpants, kind of like boxers.
Exactly.
I don't think he wants to change the name of his covers to a loose pair of underpants.
we went from yoga pants to boxers.
Well, he started it over there. I didn't.
Yeah, but yoga pants make sense because with the rear wing on mine, it's got a big rear end,
and it's got a little bit of flex in it to fit and cover it.
How would you know, Mr. Mars?
I'm trying to get this out.
I'm adjusting.
Yeah, he's adjusting his underpants while we speak. Tim, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
What do you estimate the average life of? We talked about outdoor covers and the stresses they have. An indoor cover, my indoor cover, it's not in an air-conditioned garage. But what would you estimate a yoga pants cover? A lifespan of it, what can I assume it to be?
I would say any cover that goes past 5 years is a win. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, like in terms of your original car cover, anything past 5 years, you're really winning there. Now, depending on the warranty and the return policies, you can a lot of companies or some companies they have like prorated warranties. So like the longer you go, the less your warranty is worth. So say like, okay, well, you know what, you've had your car cover for 7 years, so now we'll warranty only 20% of your car cover.
Yeah.
So But anything over 5 years, you're really winning, and especially if you have a fully covered, fully warranted cover where you can get a brand new one, taking it to 10 years. I mean, if you can get a brand new car, and after owning it for 5 years and putting 100,000 miles on it,
the paint's destroyed.
Yeah, people are like, you have an old car. Most people don't say like, hey, my car is 5 years old and it's a brand new car. Usually, I mean, we're not talking about collectibles or anything like that.
Right.
You go out there and you buy a car, or you lease a car. 3 years is sort of standard lease. After 5 years, people think you drive an old car. I mean, so if your car cover can go from up to past 5 years, you're winning. If you've got a warranty policy that takes you to 10 years, you're doing a great job.
Plus, how it protects the paint on the vehicle is worth the small amount of money you spend on a cover. That cost ratio balance is.
You have no idea. I mean, one of my dream cars is a BMW M5. I buy this car. Within 3 weeks later, there's bird poop on it. I'm like, okay, fine, I'm going to clean it tomorrow. No, tomorrow. Turns out the sun beating down on the bird poop burns through the paint. I literally, like, within a month of purchasing my car. And if you think I make car covers, so how disappointed was I in myself of being lazy and not taking care of that? It cost me I think it was maybe $1,800 to fix the.
Nice. Way to go, Tim.
And you've since cut all the trees down around your driveway so the birds won't sit up there.
So, Tim, where do you make your car covers?
So we design our car covers here in the United States, but we do manufacture the car covers overseas. So here's the challenge, guys, right? So ultimately, would we love to make our car covers in America? We would, you know what I mean? But there's this challenge of how do we create a balance of building the best quality cover at the best price possible? And so up until now, that's been China. You see everything whether it's Walmart or everything is made in China. So for us, it's this is the first time that in the past, I would say 2-3 years, we're slowly starting to bring things back because I guess the environment's sort of changing a little bit.
A lot.
Yeah, there's incentives in place where it's making it possible. So we're excited about that. And so what we've been doing is we've been slowly starting to bring some of our car covers manufacturing, and we've been doing some of our manufacturing in New Jersey. But ultimately, 99% of the car covers are made overseas right now. The hot spots are China. There's Indonesia, Philippines. There's some car covers being made in Argentina and Brazil as well. That's sort of the landscape when it comes to car covers.
And that's all kind of driven by cost of labor. Ultimately,
sure.
Material.
Yeah, material is material, and it's just the cost of labor. Yeah, I mean, for us, it used to be, if you want a solid car cover with a solid fit and made in the United States, you'd be paying anywhere from $300 to $500. If you wanted the same exact car cover in terms of same fit, same quality of protection, maybe it's like $150 car cover. So, that's been the challenge because ultimately our goal is how do we create a brand that represents the best quality, the best price possible, and it's juggling sort of. How do we do that? And that's sort of been our goal. Now we're always gonna stay true to that though, because more than anything, we're passionate about cars. I mean, that's just the bottom line. So more than anything, cars is what we're passionate about. And so we're going to do whatever it takes to design the best car cover, manufacture the best car cover at the best price possible.
What's the website, Tim?
SealSkinCovers.com, www.sealskincovers.com. If anybody's interested, you can go on there. We were actually talking about potentially, maybe in the future, giving away some free car covers to your audiences as well. Maybe we could do that. Maybe we could do that sometime as well.
They're calling in right now.
Sounds good.
We get close to Christmas and we'll hit you up.
Tim, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Tim Tiata, he's with Sealskin Car Covers. Coming up, we're going to have a car review right after a quick break. So we invite you to stay with us here on the In Wheel Time Car Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived in Philadelphia. Local time is 3:05 p.m. and the temperature is 67 degrees. At this time, you are now free to use your cellular devices.
You know that feeling when you get to turn your phone on after the plane lands? You can have that feeling every time you drive. Make sure your cell phone is stowed away whenever you are behind the wheel.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild-to-wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com. Welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Show. Time now for this hour's car review. Mr. Morris had a chance to drive or eat the Nissan Kicks.
Kicks keep getting harder to get, but not necessarily if you're with Nissan. This is one of their newer compact SUV CUVs, and it comes in 3 front-wheel drive versions. There's no all-wheel drive at this point. You can get an S, an SV, or an SR. Now, we happen to have the SR CVT, meaning it had the CVT transmission. Now, when you look at this vehicle, you're going to look at it, you're going to see you got the V-Motion front grille up front, like a lot of the Nissans have, kind of their standard. And it's got the LED headlights. This one happened to have fog lights on it. It had the chrome accents as far as the chrome rails across the top. We had the floating roof design, as you can see in the picture. It's got that kind of a white deal, and it's supposed to kind of make it look like it blends in, and it just kind of gives the vehicle a different look to it. The C-pillar, you see that it's got a black section on it and a finish that blends into the rear window. It kind of changes the whole style and the way the vehicle looks as compared to some of the others. Now, we also had the rear roof spoiler and the 17-inch alloy wheels. Now, when you get to the inside of this vehicle, we had the Permatex seating surfaces, so the front seats were heated, and the rear folding seat is a 60/40, and it'll fold down. And one of the cool things is they've got heating ducts out of the front, up underneath the front seats to the rear passenger area for, to keep it kind of warm. We had the optional 7-inch touchscreen in the center stack, and we also had the optional 7-inch driver display over there. So we had a lot of room to see all the things going on with the vehicle. Interior ambient lighting was real nice, and the Bose audio in this vehicle was really cool. And, of course, we had a cargo tonneau cover in the back to kind of keep things out of sight, out of mind whenever you're out shopping. Now, under the hood, you're going to find it's a 1.6-liter inline-4, 122 horsepower, 114 pound-feet of torque with the Xtronic CVT transmission behind it. Now, the EPA says that should give you up about 31 miles per gallon in the city, Highway 36, combined 33. I easily got 32 in the week I was driving this thing. But I will tell you that 122 horses around town is very zippy, taking kids to school, picking up the grandkids, whatever you're going to do, go in the grocery store, great. Out on the highway in Texas highway speeds, you want to pass somebody that, you're out here, you're doing 75 miles an hour and you want to get around somebody, that 122 leaves a little bit to be desired. But it's not really designed for that vehicle because of the size of it, and it's more of a, it's around town type of vehicle. So it's city cool with a firm ride on it. That short wheelbase out on the highway kind of stiffens things up. But around town, that's really part of what makes it real agile. Now, if you're looking for something to compare it to, you're going to look at possibly the Honda HR-V that starts at $20,920. The Hyundai Kona, one of their newer vehicles, at $30,300. Or maybe even the Mazda CX-3 that starts at $20,640. Now, a Base X Kicks, now this is the bottom line, $19,070. Step up a notch to the SV, starts at $20,700. The SR that we were in starts at $21,320. We had some options added to it, like Apple CarPlay and Android was an option that was added to this vehicle. $26,430 was the MSRP is driven out for a neat little compact SUV.
All right. Thank you, sir. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcasts, TuneIn, Google.
Spit it out.
That'd be Booble Podcast and Podcast Addict. Did you like it?
Yes, Booble.
The In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this quick break.
These are the sounds of a dinner. But not just any dinner. A dinner that almost didn't happen. Because without food, it can't. A dinner now served, thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations to the COVID-19 Relief Fund are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Your help is needed now more than ever, and every dollar makes a difference. That's feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. On behalf of Feeding America and families nationwide, thank you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America, 200 Food Bank Strong.
This is the award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Seekin. I'm Don Armstrong. And we're so glad that you could join us. What?
And you're not. I'm not.
I'm Don Armstrong, and you're not. What was that from? Was that
Saturday Night Live?
Saturday Night Live, but I don't think. Yeah,
It was Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
You pompous, ignorant. No, I won't even say that.
Jane, you ignorant. Yeah. That's some great stuff.
Yes, it was.
You know, I was really disappointed when I heard that he's pretty much a jerk.
I was too.
Did you hear that?
Chevy Chase?
I read some books from different places that would just
Chevy Chase. I hadn't heard that, but
he's a real.
It was the first maybe 3 years of Saturday Night Live that I loved, and then there was a kind of a second round of it when Sandlin was on, which was great because Sandlin had so many different characters. I don't even watch any of it anymore.
I don't either.
No, I couldn't even tell you if it's still on.
No, I don't watch it either. Okay, well, we're going to visit now with one of our favorite EV guys in the entire world. Actually, it's the only EV guy that we really know. His name is Buzz Smith. Buzz, how are you, brother? It's good to see you.
I'm doing great, Don. Good to see you three.
Well, it's another day, another dollar, and a little water under the bridge, as they say. And
you get paid for this?
No, not a damn thing, actually. But we wanted to talk to you today about
your road trip.
And
yes.
And so how did the road trip go? Now, I know what you're going to say. Oh,
it was
Don,
awesome.
it went great.
No problem.
We didn't have any problems. We had a lot of electricity all the way. Am I right?
Okay. Show over. We did it.
That's it. Okay, great. Okay, that's it.
No, I actually have something for Don. You're going to love this, Don.
Oh, God. Here we go.
For 8 years, my wife and I have been driving plug-in hybrids. So we thought we got range anxiety because we didn't want to run on gas. We'd get a little anxious as we got low on the battery. It's completely different in a 100% battery electric car. If you run out of electricity, you're going to call a tow truck. And I knew that you guys were going to have me back on, and I could not come on this show and say that I got towed. So I'd really planned this thing out. And if you're doing a long distance,
he got towed.
If you
there is a God in heaven.
Driving long distance in EV, you should plan, because right now they're just rolling out the infrastructure. But there was this great charging, a group of chargers. It was over 15 chargers, some of them as high as 350 kilowatts, which can charge a high-end sports car in 20 minutes, just unbelievably fast. And it was located at in Round Rock at this premium outlet mall. So we could have lunch, we could go shopping for a little bit. And we were driving down there, and we had a kayak on the roof of this van. The whole idea of taking this Bolt EV was to show it as an adventure vehicle. So we had to take adventure equipment with us. And this is no lie. We had a kayak on the roof. We had 2 bikes mounted on a bike rack behind the back of the car, and literally 56.6 cubic feet of camping gear. And I know that number because I used to sell these things, and it was packed to the gills. There was not room for another tennis ball in this thing. So, we had all this equipment to go with. And my concern, being an engineer, was, well, what's this going to do to the wind drag into my range? Because the car's range is 259 miles. Our first charging stop was going to be right at 178 miles from us. So we're thinking, easy, we got this, no problem. We got another 25, 30 miles of
Oh, I like the way this is going.
I knew you'd love this story, but you're not going to like the ending. Okay. Anyway, so right around West Texas, which is about a third of the way down to Round Rock, I've got Apple CarPlay on the center display, which shows how many miles to our designated target. And then on the car, it's showing me 3 different estimates of range based on how I'm driving. And I was going with the middle estimate. And right around west, I noticed that our 25-mile buffer had dropped down to about a 17-mile buffer. So I'm thinking, all right, it's obviously there's more wind drag than I'd accounted for, because I thought we'd lose about 20% of range, which would give us 270 or 207 miles of range. Still plenty, to get where we're going. So my wife, being her first real experience with range anxiety, she's looking on PlugShare, and she says, there's a level 2 charger or a DC fast charger in Belmead, Texas at a Walmart. I was like, well, I don't want to go sit at a Walmart only to have to charge again at Round Rock. I said, we're going to make this babe, no problem. Well, after Waco.
Famous last words.
After Waco, where there's no more DC fast chargers, there's just level 2 chargers. So instead of being able to put 100 miles of range in 30 minutes, I'm going to get 25 miles of range for every hour I'm plugged in. That's the only thing between me and Round Rock at that point, and it's counting down even faster. And so finally, I looking at this and how many miles we're getting per kilowatt, and just doing some quick math in my head, I'm thinking, all right, we're going to get there with maybe 3 miles of range left over. So sure enough,
I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. I can't wait. Go ahead.
Long story short, we absolutely did make it, but my wife and I debated. There was a fork in the road that wasn't on Apple Maps, and my wife goes, go left, and I was going to go right, and I went left, being the obedient husband I am, and it was the wrong way, and immediately my wife
don't blame her,
we're going to get stranded. And we didn't. We ended up making it to the chargers, plugged in, went inside and had some lunch, and we come out thinking, the car's going to be charged. We were plugged into EVgo chargers. And apparently, EVgo had an arrangement where if you had a Nissan Leaf, you could charge for free, but you could only charge for 45 minutes. Well, apparently this EVgo charger was set that no matter what kind of car you had, it just stopped at 45 minutes. It didn't tell you that it was going to do this. So we did not fill the battery all the way up. Well, fortunately, right there in the same parking lot was this bank of like 12 Electrify America chargers, very high energy, very fast charging. So we drove over there and plugged in, and it was really cool. I have the app on my phone. I had the app for 2 of the charger brands out there, but I didn't have EVgo, or it probably would have warned me. But I just waved my phone in front of this thing, and it knows who I am. It knows the car because it's talking to the car. It knows what rate to charge at. And so it started charging, and we did a little more shopping at the mall, came out, it's filled, and we got to Round Rock. Now we got to, Enchanted Rock. And we got to Enchanted Rock. And this is in the middle of nowhere as far as charging infrastructure. We had about, I think it was 79 miles of range when we arrived that night. Now we realized to get back to Austin, it was going to take more than 79 miles of range. And there was a DC fast charger in Kerrville. And Kerrville had a city park we really wanted to check out. It had bike trails. It had a river that we could kayak on. And it turned out to be gorgeous. And the charger was located at the Convention Center Visitors Bureau thing. And there was another one that was at James Avery Craftsman, the silversmith. You see a lot of their stuff at Christmas time. Apparently, they're headquartered in Kerrville. And so they've got this big campus. They've got DC fast chargers there. You can take a tour of the museum and all. So there was a lot of things to do right around these chargers. And the first time we went to Kerrville, we just went across the street to a Mexican restaurant, had lunch. We came out, car was full. So it was, exactly the gas car experience without having to go to a gas station. We just parked right across the street and went in to eat. The next day was the big trip. The next day was the big trip. It was this big circular ride, about 250 miles. And from an Enchanted Rock, we're going to go to Natural Bridge Caverns, probably not do the cavern tour. We're going to go to the Lander River in New Braunfels and kayak there. We were going to stop off at the Chevy dealership in town because they had free charging, DC fast charging. And they were kind enough to take us back to the river, while we had our car dropped off. And then from there, we were going to go to Jacob's Well, which had been shut down due to the COVID deal. When they opened up reservations, it got booked well into the future, so we couldn't make a reservation. Same thing happened with Hamilton Pool. We were going to go there. I've been going to Hamilton Pool since I was a little kid. And if you're not familiar with it, basically it was an underground lake, and the roof of the cavern, half of it caved in. So now you've got this half-covered pond with a waterfall falling from ground level down into the lower grotto, and it's just a cool place to go swimming.
But it's cold water because it's spring water.
It is definitely cold water. They talked about that on Seinfeld. Since you guys were quoting old stuff earlier, I'm sure y'all got that quote as well. But anyway, we ended up just driving by those places. We couldn't actually get inside of them because once they got rid of the ban on going there, the reservation just booked up and we couldn't get in. But we did want to show we could do the entire loop, which we did. And it was my wife's birthday, so we had a really nice dinner.
Did I miss him say something about the wrecker? Did
I miss that? So far you have.
Yeah. So you haven't gotten to the wrecker yet, have you?
No, and it actually didn't happen. What we found was in that first 180 miles, the car had learned from the experience of being driven. Now, when we picked it up, it only had 7 miles on it. So it had no experience. It was just going to assume that it could go 259 miles, which is the stated average. But it learns as you're driving. So when you do go on a road trip and it sees that, oh, you're going 75 miles an hour, there's more wind drag, I'm going to get less range, and it gives you a more realistic estimate of how far you can get on that charge.
Right.
Once we went through that first charge, it was pegged at 181. Every time we filled it up, 181. And it was very accurate. And we never had any problems charging at all.
Okay, Mr. Range Anxiety, I want you to hang on there for just a second because we need to take a quick break. But when we come back, we're going to talk about that range anxiety. I want to hammer that home, so I want you to just stay right there with us, okay?
All right.
Buzz Smith, the evangelist. He's going to be back with us here on the In Wheel Time Car Show right after this.
Hey, Dad. Your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can. But it's just as important to take time for yourself. AARP can help. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Are you one of those people who thinks it's okay to drive stoned? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You end up driving below the speed limit? It's no big deal, right? Wrong. The truth is, your reaction times slow way down when you're high. You not only put yourself in danger, but everyone around you. Talk about a buzzkill. Stop kidding yourself. It's not okay to drive high. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
From Hollywood. Every time I hear that, I just want to.
Don Armstrong.
Well, whatever.
Tell us what you won, Don.
Well, in the prize pot today is the evangelist. That would be Buzz Smith, and he's on the line with us right now. Hi, Buzz, and thanks for playing.
Having a blast.
Yeah. So here's what I want to ask you about. I have many things to ask you about, but the one thing I wanted to ask you about on this, how long was this journey, this loop that you made in total?
As far as hours?
Miles.
Let's start with miles.
Oh, it's about 250 miles.
Okay, 200.
I may actually have that.
Okay, 250 miles.
Yeah, roughly.
And how many times did you have to stop to get charged? Twice?
One time.
One time.
Yeah.
How much did that? Now, at what level of charge was the battery when you plugged it in for that one charge?
That one I was down to about 45 miles of range left.
Okay, so you had a full charge when you left. Then you had to stop when you had 45 miles of charge left.
When we left Enchanted Rock, we had driven there. From Hillsborough. So we lost about 45 miles range off of a full charge. So we probably left with around, if you start with 180 because of all the gear we were carrying, probably 140 miles of range, about 90 miles to San Marcos. So we had about 45 left.
When you charged at the Chevy dealer?
Yes.
All right.
That one, you were asking about speed of the chargers. That one was a DC fast charger, but I would call that one a DC medium charger. It was only 25 kilowatts. The Bolt can take 50.
Yeah, but it was free.
Took longer to charge than we had anticipated.
Okay, so all right, so I guess the point that I'm trying to make is no matter where you started with a full charge.
No.
At some point your car had a full charge.
We had a full charge. Yeah.
Okay, so and because you went to this one place and you didn't have a full charge when you went there,
Right.
So I want to go back to when you started the trip, when you started whatever it was that took the mileage off of it. I want to start there.
Okay.
From that point until the 250-mile loop that you made, how much money out of your pocket did you pay to get your car charged?
Well, it's funny you should mention that because I have a spreadsheet where I track that through the whole
Of course
thing.
you do. I know that you do.
Don's over there making notes, and he's trying to calculate on his paper.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
okay. So how much did that cost you?
Typically, it was about 30 cents a minute for connect time. Some were more expensive. EVgo was more expensive, but we did a 975-mile ride on $32 worth of electricity.
So $32 and
Everybody's grabbing their calculator.
basically 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Your counterpart over here on the calculator, Conrad DeLong, he is making the calculation right now. And if I had the drum roll, we would have that. But I see him; he's still punching in numbers. So let's just stand by and see if you have. As a matter of fact, that music was so dang good. I think that
You're gonna play it again.
So let's
The
take
Jeopardy music?
Yeah. For me to kind of take it at face value, if you took $32 and you bought gasoline, you'd get 16 gallons of gasoline at $2 a gallon. So theoretically, or I can't say it the way Boris says it. He says it.
Theoretically.
Theoretically. You got about 61 miles to a gallon on your electric vehicle as a cost basis.
Yes. Now, I also cheated. Remember, I went to a Chevy dealership? The Chevy dealership was free. Now, there probably aren't any gas stations you guys can stop off at and get free gas. Or maybe you're famous such that you can. I don't want to besmudge that.
No, we're not that famous.
We have to pay double.
But, the fact of the matter is that was free. And even when I accounted for paying there, I'm much more strict on my math, and I'm comparing it to $2 a gallon gasoline.
Right.
And so what I came up with is I averaged about 22 miles per gallon. So here in town, I would average at least 115 miles per gallon, probably much better than that because it's stop and go traffic in town. But on the road trips, you're going to pay more for the electricity because they've got to pay for the charger, to charge your car.
Because you will. That's why you pay more for it, because you will.
Yeah. I mean,
you have no choice.
Well, but I mean, it's just like gasoline on the interstate. It costs you a little bit more out on the interstate.
Exactly. And you're going to pay for that convenience of DC fast charging rather than sit around longer. But my calculations, I came up with averaging on the entire trip about 22 miles per gallon if I'd gone ahead and paid at the Chevy dealership. So I've got slightly different numbers than you guys do, but still, that was what I used to pay for my Lexus ES300, and there's no way I'm going on this camping trip with a Lexus ES300.
Though it would be a little bit more comfortable than a Bolt.
Yeah, but
it would. As far as the seats, I hear a lot of people complaining about the seats, but they're not usually people like me that are 5'6". To me, the seats are luxurious, but there are taller people that definitely think they need some more foam in those seats.
And
but one thing this opened my eyes. I just because I used to sell Chevrolets, the Bolt EV was one of the ones I was considering. It is in the thick of the running now. I can't understand why people would go and spend $60,000, $70,000 on an EV when they can get something like this. And I mean, it was great for this camping trip. It really was, guys. I had a blast in it. And it's very similar in form factor. You mentioned the Kia Niro EV or Kia Niro earlier. They do have an EV version of that as well.
Yes, they do. I have experience in that.
It's a cool car. I like that one as well. But the little SUV form factor has grown on me. I told my wife this is what we should do next so that now that I'm retired and she's getting close to retirement age, we can do a lot more camping.
So my final question to you is, and I'm going to leave you with this.
Drum roll.
Are you, after all of that you put your wife through, are you still married?
We are happily, actually.
Oh, really? So there wasn't some big blowout on the road about range anxiety or
making a left when you should have made a right.
Yeah.
I think the saving grace was I took her advice on the wrong turn.
That's exactly what I was looking for.
Get them brownie points.
And I never rubbed her nose in it. I was just very
till now. Till now. Now you tell everybody.
But when my wife says turn left, I turn left.
Buzz, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We really have a good time with you. Thank you for taking the ribbing, and you know that we love you and we appreciate all that your knowledge and everything that you bring to the show. And let's talk again soon, okay?
I want to come down there and take you guys out driving in some EVs, so we're going to set that.
Well, you're going to do more than that. We're going to go to the bar at the end of the trip.
Oh, if you can keep up with me on tequila shots, I'm there.
Oh, my God.
Challenge. We have been challenged.
We are on. Love you. Thank you. Buzz Smith, he's the evangelist.
Thank you, sir.
I was a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
I thought it's kind of fitting that we kind of play some sort of ZZ Top nod to them.
Cool. I love it.
Okay. Welcome back to the In Wheel Time Car Show. Glad you could join us on this Halloween edition. And boy, it's been a boo of a show, hasn't it? So to speak. All right, time now for Conrad's Car Clinic, and it's going to be on range anxiety.
Well, yeah, it's to a degree, and it's going to be about talking about filling up your electric car. If you really look at it, the car draws electricity and stores it in a battery pack. That battery pack in your electric car is like a fuel tank. It's only going to hold so much fuel, so much electricity, and then based on how much electricity it holds, it's going to deliver that as propulsion down the road of the vehicle. So different cars hold different amounts of electricity. When you look at the Mitsubishi MI-EV, that's only going to hold about 16 kilowatts of power. Yeah, and then when you go up to like some of the Teslas that are going to hold up to 100 kilowatts of power, and you just heard Buzz talk about how the charging system delivers by kilowatt over a period of time. So all of those calculations can tell you how long it's going to take you to charge your vehicle when you plug it into 110, and then when you plug it into 220, it'll push more kilowatts into the battery at a certain amount of time. And then if you can get on what he calls the superchargers, which is actually, I think supercharger is the name that Tesla uses for their power charging system, you're pushing in at 440 amps, so it's really going to push in a big charge all of a sudden. So the Chevy Bolt that Buzz was driving holds about 40 to 60 kilowatt hours of power, and depending on how efficient the EV is, that determines how many miles you're going to be able to go. And you even heard Buzz talk about how his vehicle learned how far it could go after he drove it a couple of times, and then it kind of reset itself to like 181 hours. On the road, the battery feeds energy into an electric motor that's pretty compact, powerful, and quiet, and that replaces the gasoline or diesel engine in a vehicle. Almost all passenger EVs have a direct drive to move the wheels. There is no multi-speed transmission in them. It's just how quickly it turns the electric motor, and that electric motor propels the vehicle around. One of the other things that some of the EV vehicles do is they use something called regenerative braking. So what regenerative braking is, turning the electric motor backwards, and it doesn't physically turn it backwards, but it turns it backwards, and it turns it into a generator, a DC generator. So as you brake, now it's using that electric motor to slow the vehicle down, and that load it uses to slow it down pushes electricity back in the battery to extend the drive range of the vehicle. And all of that really has a bearing on how much regenerative braking effectively extends your drive range. So are you going uphill? Are you going downhill? What's the weight of the vehicle? What speed do you start braking at? All of those calculations have to come into how much more electricity it's going to put into the vehicle. How long your EV is going to take to be connected to refill all very much depends on the type of system that you're hooking up to recharge on. Most all modern EVs accept a 240 volt charge and 2 charging speeds, which ultimately puts about at the 110 range, puts about 25 miles of range per hour of charging in the battery pack. And then there's some real high-tech ones that are going to fill up the vehicle to about 80% of its battery charge in about 20 to 30 minutes. So it's worth finding the supercharge stations versus plugging it into your house, because when you plug it into your house, you're going to have to leave it plugged in all week long.
Well, while we're talking about this, J.D. Power's 2020 Q3 Mobility Confidence Index found that North American vehicle owners have not changed their opinions on battery electric vehicles or self-driving technologies. The study, fueled by SurveyMonkey and released Tuesday, said, quote, consumers remain skeptical because of their lack of firsthand experience with these technologies and lack of education about how and why these technologies work. Despite minimal changes in consumer views, automakers continue to invest in electrification and self-driving technology, according to the study. Right now, there are about 50 battery electric vehicle models scheduled for a U.S. debut by the end of 2022. Remember Kristen Kolodge, Executive Director of Driver Interaction and Human Machine Interface Research at J.D. Power? Mm-hmm. She's the one that did all of this. U.S. consumers also expressed a desire for battery electric vehicles to have a greater range, but 45% of U.S. respondents don't have the patience to wait more than 15 minutes for a charge. There! I told you so.
Unless you're doing something like what Buzz was doing. They're at a mall, they're going shopping, they're eating some lunch.
They're floating the river.
Buzz is retired and has no job, so there's that.
He has a job.
We love you, Buzz.
The In Wheel Time show continues after this.
I may never have met you. We don't go way back. Maybe we wouldn't even be friends if we did. But when you wear a mask, you have my respect. Because your mask doesn't protect you. It protects me. I wear my mask to protect you. Mask up, America.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@nwheeltime.com. You know,
hello?
Yeah. By the way,
and he'll redecorate the studio for
Mercedes-Benz GLS 600 4MATIC arrives in stores in December. Starts at $161,550, including shipping. Fully loaded, the SUV is going to top out at $200,000.
Talk about
mere chump change
a Christmas
for you.
present.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's it for this episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show.
Becky.
When you're on Facebook, please give us a like, won't you? Tell your friends about us. You'll get Conrad's Unicorn Hunting features along with all things automotive all week long. Special thanks to all of our guests today. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, and on InWheelTime.com. 30-minute daily podcasts available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeart Podcast, Google Podcast, and Podcast Addict. The In Real Time Chief Engineer is the fabulous David Ainsley. Our video and marketing candy is Jeffrey Zekin. This week's In Real Time Car Show is produced and directed by Killer Queen. For booking agent and podcast man Mike Out of This World Mars, his royalty king Conrad DeLong, and more Jeff Zekin, I'm Don Armstrong saying so long for now, and we hope you'll join us again live next Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to noon, right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Thanks for being part of the In Real Time family. Enjoy your weekend. Don't forget to turn your clocks back tonight. Happy Halloween, and happy Blue Moon to you. Blue Moon over Miami. And be sure to
over
get
Kentucky.
out and vote.
I thought it was a beer.
It is a beer.
Is it a beer?
Yes.
Oh, Blue Moon beer.
It's got a little orange flavor in
go
it.
have yourself a beer, and we'll see you next week.